We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
2, 1.
What up, though, people? It's your boy Brandon,
up,
a.k.a.
though?
Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter right for Network. We got Ball Nowhere Platte in the building.
What up, though, chat?
And you know, it's somewhat of a full house for the Pistons game, man. They are playing the Pelicans tonight. And we got a full booth, man. We're going to go around and introduce. What up, though, Jeff? NTD.
Man, what's good? Hey, man, listen. It's glad to go. It's glad to be back here. We've been absent for a little while. The Pistons have had, a lot of home games on this stretch. And when they didn't, I know we had that span of West Coast games where they were playing at 10 o'clock, and it was hard for us to get out here and do a watch party. But we are here. We're live, and this is the Trey Murphy tryout game. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see, man. What about you, Aaron?
Hey, get your mic, definitely, brother.
Yeah.
Unmute your mic.
Here. Appreciate that.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Good.
There it is.
We good now?
Yes, sir.
All
Sorry
right.
about that. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm excited to see some good Pistons basketball tonight. Cade's not playing, but we're going to see all these other guys playing. It looks like they're already having a great start. They're off to a 13-7 start, so we're going to see how they play tonight. It looks like it's going to be a good game on the Pistons side. So,
Absolutely. And no Cade Cunningham tonight, Kool-Aid. Illness and hip. They didn't list the wrist injury. Although, again, I got to think that that's definitely something being maintenance too right now. Maybe they just can't fit 3 injuries in a medical report for Cade Cunningham right now. But he is out tonight. Again, I don't read into this Kool-Aid as anything to be worrisome about. I think this is just, you're playing one of the worst teams in the NBA right now. This is your chance to kind of use a maintenance day for Cade Cunningham, right? Do you expect more than this absence, or is this just
Throughout the season, I expect there to be more. When you got to last year's playoffs, people's legs were dead. The shooters' legs were dead. Cade Cunningham's legs were dead, and that was something they talked about, trying to figure out the best way they can get to these playoffs this year, and with the intent of being able to make a long run. And you look at how much energy they're exerting in this regular season. That's why I'm glad that JB Bickerstaff has found some type of magic with this team, being able to go so deep into the rotation and having guys ready to go, because there's sometimes when we say, man, y'all wish Danis got more time, and then boom, he's just starting one night. And then, he's starting another night. And guess what? The Pistons, no matter the combination, have found ways to win. Whether Uncle's not there, whether Cade is missing games, whether Jalen Duren is missing games, whether Sarge Thompson is missing games, the Pistons are just winning games. Yep. And that, to me, is a sign of a well-coached team who's bought in completely to the message. So I do expect it to be. You think about last year, they had, maintenance games in the second half of that season.
Right.
It was like a 7-game stretch where they didn't really play that well, but you knew they were going to try and gear up. But I think that they thought they got a little too – they started that too late. This year, they're taking those breaks a little earlier.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not worried about it right now. I don't think
not at
it's
all.
anything more than a maintenance, and I think he's probably back the next game. I think they're just giving him the breaks when they can here and there. So in that Cade Cunningham absence, who are you expecting to be the X factor? Who are you looking at to step up tonight? Is it Jalen Duren? Is it potentially Dan Jenkins? Is it Jaden Ivey? Who are you looking at to step up for this Pistons team tonight?
For me, it's if Jalen Duren's in a lineup, I'm always expecting him to either support Cade Cunningham, or if Cade's not there, for him to be that all-star player. You hear national media now saying he's an all-star lock as a reserve. You're hearing people say, yeah, if he continues this on, this is who he is. This is what we have to expect him. Yeah. And he's showing that he's not the big man that has to depend on getting all of his buckets off the pick and roll. You could see him push and transition. You see him bring the ball up the court after made baskets by the other team. You see him being able to accept the pass at the top of the key and dribble down and operate in the post effectively and efficiently now. So I do always expect Jalen Duren to go out there and be a double-double
There he is,
minutes,
cleaning
bro.
up a dunk right there.
You get to speaking about him, and look, he starts making magic happen.
I saw you over there, too. I was like, you know what? Keep this going, man. I play off those cues for my guy Jeff over there. But
Listen, man, hey,
it's always going to start there. What up, though?
Jalen Duren has been amazing, especially when you talk about someone who last game coming off a game against the Celtics where he absolutely dominated on both sides of the ball. I mean, we're looking at Jalen Duren just coming off the slam, and you got the national media, like you said, taking notice to him, and now he's starting to get more a little bit of notoriety around the league, and we see he talked about it, being under JB, what being under a coach like JB has done for him, and we see that growth taking place. We see him being one of the leaders in, potentially being an all-star, but also as one of the, breakout players of, the year. So he's coming into his own. And as crazy as we talk about this all the time, the dude is still, 21, 22 years old? So there's still so much more potential-wise for him to continue to grow. And that's what's truly special about Jalen Duren. And, yes, he absolutely needs to show out in this game because this is almost like a game where he's coming off against the Celtics, dominated. Now you have no Cade. You want to see him do that again.
I agree with that 100%. This is a time for Jalen Duren to I think, like how you see Danish Jenkins, whenever he gets these opportunities, he's not shy about proving that he deserves these things. I already saw early in the game 5 points, and I think 100% from the field for him. Let me see if it's still that. Yeah, 5 points, 2 of 2 from the floor, 1 of 1 behind the arc, and 2 assists already for Danish Jenkins, and then Jalen Duren. He's actually leading the Pistons in scoring right now, 6 points, 2 of 2 from the floor, 3 rebounds. So, and what I love here, it's the entire starting lineup that's getting involved.
Yes.
The entire starting lineup, man. Everybody out there is scoring. Now, you want to see Unk in a game without Cade Cunningham. You talk about the player that I want to see be able to step up. It's Jalen Duren. But the player, if Tobias is ever in a starting lineup, he has to continue to be exactly what we expect the Unk or the vet of the squad to be. And more so than the beginning of the game, more in the third and fourth quarters without your closer and Cade Cunningham, is where I'm looking for a guy like Tobias Harris to be a steadying force. If the Pistons sleepwalk a little bit, we know that they've been known to make games a little closer than they need to be in the fourth quarter. So I'm looking for Unk in the fourth quarter to be one of those stabilizing, kind of steadying forces while Danish Jenkins continues to be just this point guard supremo from what some people think is out of nowhere. But I'll tell you this, we've been covering Danish Jenkins since he was drafted as a Piston, literally boots on the ground at Summer League, literally covering the Motor City Cruise games and talking about it. We were all talking about it, like, yo, this dude's a baller. Yeah. Straight up. So I like the fact that they have some kind of stay ready already guys, and I do believe tonight it's going to be one of those ones where Danish Jenkins and Jalen Duren are really leading the charge for 3 quarters, and then I'm hoping Tobias can be one of those steadying forces in the fourth.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to take a team effort. This is not going to be one guy steps up and, burdens everything that Cade Cunningham burdens every single game and delivers. It's going to be a team effort. You're going to look at guys like Isaiah Stewart, right? Like when we had the most limited options offensively in a game, Isaiah Stewart had a career high. And he just kind of steps up and does what needs to be done in order to win games. And much to our surprise, that includes a 30-point game. So, I look at guys like that, guys like Ron Holland, Sasser's in right now. Can he give you a little something off the bench? It's going to take a team. It's going to take a wave of players, not just one particular player to step up in Cade's absence. But the person, I'd like to see have a good game is Ivy. I'd like to see Ivy have a good game, and I'd like to see Ivy be able to push past that 20-minute mark. Like, I start to wonder if that's strategic by management and coaching to just they don't want him going over 20 minutes at this point in the season. If it's consistent,
then that means he's still on minute restrictions.
Yeah. Because they haven't said it. They haven't addressed his restrictions in any way. So I'm looking for is this a game where he could give you 20 good minutes, or maybe they even loosen that leash a little bit and let him go for a little bit more.
Yeah, now in the early going here, the Pistons are shooting 62% from the floor and 50% from behind the arc, while New Orleans is shooting 37.5% and 20% from behind the arc. So the defense is going for the Pistons, which is second in the league, and they've gotten that defensive rating to 108.5 as Stu hits a 3, man.
Let's go.
The Pistons are big right now, 29-19. They pushed it to a double-digit lead with 3 minutes left in the first quarter, man. I love the identity of this team. I love the fact that we have a superstar that can push the ceiling of this team, but the identity of this squad, they can still keep the motor running, even if Cade has to take a night off. Do you guys understand how crucial that is in the playoffs when we might need him to take a crucial, like, Cade is gassed. It's game 6. He needs 2-3 minute breaks.
Yes.
Now we know that this team, because they've done this now we're over the halfway point of the season. All season, we're like, hey, we threw the first 10 games. Hey, we threw the first third. We threw the first. Now we're at the halfway point. We are there. This is who the Pistons are. And I'm glad to know that we got some dogs that can step up in the pinches, because when you go back to last season, there were some times where it was like, dag, do we have anybody else that can step up? I'm more confident about this team this year. And Ivy off the bench, 5 minutes so far, 3 points. He hit his only 3 that he took, and he's still 100% from the floor. And then Isaiah Stewart off the bench just hit another 3. So the 3 ball is working for the Pistons tonight.
They're going to need that.
Yeah.
They're going to need that. I mean, again, talk about areas, you expect this Piston team, rain, sleet, snow, polar vortex like Michigan's in right now. No matter the weather, you expect this team to win the points in the paint battle, win the rebound battle, which they didn't last game that we talked about, and win, the points off of turnovers. But tonight, you may also need to win threes in order to get this job done. Again, this isn't a world-class team, but the NBA – they have players in it. They have players, and very interesting players this New Orleans Pelicans team has. So
hey, he's talking about some of those
excited.
players.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for that. Are you guys worried about a Sadiq Bey revenge game at all?
No, I was about to actually bring his name up.
Yeah.
I mean, Sadiq Bey's been I still can't believe Sadiq Bey dropped 50 points, but
I know. One of the craziest 50s ever. Put
I'm
that up there with Corey Brewer.
part of me wonders. I know all of us would love a Trey Murphy trade. But sometimes I do wonder, like, if Sadiq Bey would be one of those people that's kind of thrown into a deal like that. I'm dead serious, because Trey Murphy and Sadiq Bey coming back, whatever the outgoing is not going to be something that really messes with what's making the Pistons work right now. You would add a couple nice pieces to your roster. But I don't know. I do value Unc. That's the one thing. I do value what he brings. Cade, when he was asked about Tobias Harris the other day, he was like, bro, how long do I have to talk about him?
Yeah,
and it was like when he explained it, it was just like, these are the intrinsic things. But if Cade's that guy, he's supposed to be the one to be able to elevate the team above even that. So if they have to make a trade, I do believe that Cade is that guy who can help that team where you would probably miss the Unk-ism of Tobias. Cade is real mature.
Well, I had a tweet out this morning that that talked about Tobias Harris, because I found an interesting stat. I mean, again, Tobias Harris is important for all the things I mentioned on the stream. He's important for his defense. His frame and size allows him to guard 5 through. You see it all the way to 3, maybe even 2, depending on some of the bigger 2s that you face. He was on Jaylen Brown the last possession of the game. So that shows you the level of trust they have in him defensively. Obviously, you talked about the chemistry stuff with Cade Cunningham. We saw in that last game against Boston, we saw the isolation scoring from the inside, and you hope that the outside shot is working like it was last night. But the Pistons are undefeated when Tobias Harris scores 20 points or more. So what that tells me is one, Tobias Harris is important, but 2, also that if you get a legit scorer next to Cade Cunningham, you are going to get results. Now, obviously, you can't ignore all the other things that I mentioned that Tobias brings to the table in terms of the defense, the chemistry, the isolation scoring, all of that. You can't just simply make an offensive upgrade just to upgrade the three-point shooting. He has to, whoever you bring in, also fit those other shoes as best as possible in order to make this work. But the metrics show, the numbers show that when Cade gets a legit scorer next to him or has somebody with a legit scoring night performance next to him, this Piston team is damn near unbeatable. So that's just something, again, you got to be careful when you're throwing Tobias in trade machines,
And exactly that. Like, when you talk about what this team is, it's the longer we see this thing go on and the more we realize they're not falling off, the more we have to then look a little bit deeper at the recipe. So trust me, if this team were to add an MPJ or a Trey Murphy, you know what? You're going to see what this – all of us would probably be signed up for that. But I'm telling you, I think there is a little bit more here, too. Them also saying we want to see how far we can take things with this squad here. Because you're right. That's an amazing stat with Tobias Harris. And it's like when you do try to talk about the type of impact he's had, some of those games, that undefeated record was without Cade even in the lineup. So that's where I'm like, you know what? It's a tough thing. You go and you tinker with this chemistry. You go and you tinker with this lineup just a little bit. It could throw things off a lot. So it's going to be interesting as we come up into this trade deadline. What we know about Trajan, at least so far, is that he will play things not necessarily safe, but he doesn't have to go out there and try and do the home run swing with this squad because it's already well built. We saw last year they were able to go and make the incremental move, or what we thought was an incremental move, but Dennis Schroeder actually paid huge dividends for the Detroit Pistons. And I do believe that if they can find a way to make that type of a move this year, they will. That's what I think is the most likely for the Detroit Pistons. Some type of incremental move that has the same type of impact or effect as a Dennis Schroeder, but this year you're adding him to a team that is just better, deeper, actualizing or realized Cade Cunningham, an all-star ascendant Jalen Duren.
Yes.
You got Osara Thompson, who it's not like, okay, we knew he was a good defender. We were waiting all season last year as he was trying to get that stamina up because he missed the first 25 games of the year. And then when you get to the playoffs, you see, okay, yeah, he is an all-world defender. Well, this year we're getting that for the whole entire season. So that's why I do believe this year, if there's an incremental move for like a Schroeder type of a player, or not even like a point guard, I'm just saying someone who can have that type of an impact, I do believe that would actually be big dividends for the Pistons in this East.
So let me ask you the question that I asked on heavyweights today that I think you answered, but I just want to phrase it this way so that you can really think about the answer. So 3 years ago, the Lions were looking great. They were at the trade deadline. They had everything going for them, and they wound up in the NFC Championship and lost that game. And the heavyweights famously, we all crashed out about it. We all crashed out about not making a move at the trade deadline. The day of the trade deadline, before the NFC Conference Championship game even happened.
Pistons, get it together.
With how open the Eastern Conference is, with how good this squad is, will you be crashing out the same way if they don't make a move this deadline?
And that's if they hit the first round and then lose.
Yeah.
Man, that is tough.
Or just in general, or even just in the moment. You don't have to like revision
in the moment.
history.
Look, I will say this because that's a really, really good question. I don't want it to be able to really think about it like you said, but say with the Lions, they came into the season knowing we are Super Bowl or bust. With the Pistons, we didn't necessarily come into that season knowing that. We see a team largely that most people still say is overachieving. With the Pistons, with the Lions, we saw a team that we thought that's who they are. We beat TA Lions. We're going to win the North. So if the Vikings are winning 13 games, or 14 games, and we got to win 15 games, that's the way we approached it. This is our division. This is our playoffs. This is our Super Bowl to have. Whereas with the Pistons, we didn't quite have that. Now, I am a big proponent of once a team shows you who they are, hold them to that. So I will be disappointed. If they don't win a first-round series, that's going to be huge to me because we talk about the lack of hope that the last two playoff teams that before this one gave us, and it wasn't that much. There wasn't much that you could say, you know what, they're building positively. Yeah. And in this era where we've seen teams like Orlando Magic and the Atlanta Hawks be the popular names for a time, the Memphis Grizzlies, right? Weren't these teams just in the playoffs with max-level players or first-round overall picks or, multiple top 5 picks? Look at the Orlando Magic. And all of a sudden the Pistons, I told y'all this last year, those all dysfunctional teams about to get put in a rear view. And they are. Like, look at the Hawks. I've been telling y'all this for a minute. They're going to trade Trae Young. Yeah. They tried everything else first, and then that's what wound up happening. He's out of there. So that's what I'm saying. Like, things can change quickly in this NBA. But I do believe that the squad, this Pistons team right here, they're in a position where because that's a really good question. But they got to win that. They got to win that first round playoff series for me.
Okay.
It won't be disappointing.
For me, I think Chuck Brewer in the chat kind of perfectly sums it up here. Is that football windows, they close in a second. Pistons window is long, got to be smarter. Now, I would crash out if they made 0 moves. If they didn't even make a Dennis Schroeder type move where it costed you maybe a couple seconds, and you got somebody that you just like for the playoff rotation more. I understand that making a move for an MPJ, for a Trey Murphy is a bigger haul, is a lot more capital or assets you are spending. I would like to see them make that move because I think this team has that opportunity, and I think that this team is young enough to where you can trust trading future assets. But I would be okay if they made just a move on the margins, whether it be a filler contract like their trade exception that they have, that they could just slide right in for a $14 million player that they got for Dennis Schroeder, or Karis LeVert's $15 million. Like, there's options and players to move on this board that you can get something back that maybe fits better if you attach a couple assets. I'm okay with that, but I don't think I'd be okay if this team completely stood pat. If this team made 0 moves, I don't think I'd be okay with it.
I think as currently constructed, they have enough already to win that first-round playoff series, and I expect them to be able to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, or at least a good series that they played to get there. Like, if they had a series like they just played against the Knicks last year and just missed out on the Eastern Conference Finals, that is more than acceptable by me. Mm-hmm. So it's like I try and look at it from that perspective. And I kind of feel what Aaron's saying here in the chat. He's saying we don't need a small move at all, though. We're already loaded with depth. And so it's like at that point in time, you'd really be hunting for something more specific from a reserve position that's still only going to get 15 to 20 minutes. So that's with me, I would not be surprised if it's not a big deal. Like MPJ, we're going to call MPJ and Trey Murphy's now the big deals.
Yes.
If it's not those, I wouldn't be surprised if they just stood pat.
Or Jaren Jackson Jr., that's another name.
Or Jaren Jackson
reported too. Yeah.
Golly, I would love Triple J too. But that for me, that's why I started realizing, like, okay, these people going 13
Great defense by Ron.
If they wanted to shorten the roster up, like most teams run the 8 to 10, they would have a pretty nice rotation of guys that I believe could handle the responsibility. And that's where I if they do a move, I could see it being something incremental, maybe to add a little size with shooting ability, maybe to add somebody off the bench who can bolster a little bit of scoring and things of that nature. But then when you look around the league, you realize those players are going to cost you a Tobias and a first, or a Tobias and a young player, or a Tobias and an Ivy.
Right.
And so then you're right kind of back in that same MPJ, Trey Murphy. And that's where I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get one of the bigger names, if they just say, you know what, we're good enough right now.
See, I wouldn't like that, man. I think you need shooting, man.
Talk about it.
I think you need shooting, dog. Like,
where do you go with that, though? That's what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
not that they wouldn't make the deal for shooting, but when you look at the shooting that's available versus the price, that's where I'm like, dang, where do they go?
Yeah.
So it's like, are you willing to overpay to get more shooting that might not be requisite of the value that you're sending out?
I mean, look, right now it's by reports that the Pelicans want to keep all their guys, that they just want to ride this out. The only player they're interested in trading is DeJounte Murray.
They are lying.
And Zion
you know
Williams.
it. You know the Pelicans are lying.
So I know that.
They're lying, Jeff.
But
They're
even if you get a smaller move like a Herb Jones or something like that, that's not quite Trey Murphy, but I need something for this team in terms of shooting. Like I think that you are putting a lot of pressure on Duncan Robinson, who is playing great defense right now, but in the playoffs will no doubt be the focal point of defenses or of offense's attack. And there might be series where he gets played out. Or if this guy has a shooting slump, you have very, very little other shooting on this team, because Ivy, I believe in his shot, but he has shown it to be very streaky. It's inconsistent, very streaky. So for me, I think Ivy is a good shooter, but could he have a bad series shooting? Absolutely. Could Duncan Robinson have a bad series shooting? Absolutely. So you need more gunpowder in that reserve.
Because they're the type of shooters, when we say inconsistent, it doesn't mean even in the game.
Yeah.
They're either on in the game, or if they're on or off in the game.
And that's it. And you know in the first 3 shots what type of game it is.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. So for me, I need more. I need something I need at least something. If they run this team as is, I would be upset. I would look at that as as a mark against Trajan, because I think that you are not too good to not make a move. I think you are a great team, and I get that you are playing with house money, but
Sheesh.
you gotta do something.
Yeah, hey, give you guys an update on the game here. Second quarter, 11 minutes left. The Pistons' lead has been sliced in half, 37-32. They were up by 10, but the Pelicans have improved everything from a shooting standpoint.
Yep.
At one point in time, they were at 20% from behind the arc. Now they are at 44.4% from behind the arc and the field. Isaiah Stewart, and one. He's been playing good, man. He entered this game. He played good. You talk about people you want to see kind of step up. He's definitely going to be one of your X factors. I don't even know if you could say that, but without Cade is why I put him more in that X factor category.
Yeah, when you look at
offensively,
offense.
Offensively.
Yeah.
Defensively, you expect him to still be the same, but offensively is where you expect Stu to be someone who can step out every now and then and hit a three. And when you need him to be able to play big like he just did there, and he got to and when it completes it. So the Pistons go up 40-32.
Let's go.
About 10:30 left in the second quarter.
Yeah,
But I think I get where you're at, and I sit and I try to wonder how much of me wanting to see the Pistons make a move is because of the Tigers and Lions not, and we seeing how their season went, and then I also wonder how much of it is me wanting them to make a move. Marcus Sasser with a pull-up three-pointer on a fast break, bro.
that guy's
On a fast break, look at his face. Like, this is what I do.
this guy is a demon.
Shout out to Marcus Sasser, and that's what I'm saying. Like, have we even seen if Marcus Sasser is going to be a GOAT this year? We haven't even seen what type of demon he's going to be this year. And that's what I mean. Like,
I've long thought that he is an NBA player, like that he is an NBA rotational player. I really believe that. I get the deficiencies with him, but he is just too good of a shooter.
He'll be hunted defensively, but offensively, he's really good.
Yeah, he is too good of a shooter, though.
Man, but you know what? Somebody who I felt like would have done really, really well here, and I remember there was some time he was available from the Portland Trailblazers, Anthony Simons, who's with Celtics now.
Yep.
He's a guy who I thought would have fit much better with this core. And the Boston Celtics were able to snag him for not much, which was crazy. I'm just sitting there like, we couldn't have did anything, but I knew at that point in time the Pistons were still trying to figure out what they had with Jaden Ivey. But, it's interesting to look at him. Oh, my gosh. We talk about the offensive rebounding being what kept the Celtics in the game the other night. You still got the Pelicans just kind of hanging around with the Pistons. And what did you see on this possession? 2 offensive rebounds, 3 chances on 1 possession to score. And what do? They get the score.
Yeah. It's got to be
Pistons answer right back,
Yeah.
though.
It's got to be something that this Piston team shapes up. Boston, again, I gave them leeway.
Yeah.
I outlined how Boston's a good offensive rebounding team.
But you can't let the Pelicans go out there and punk you in your paint.
But
Like,
you know what?
just
The
can't.
Pelicans are actually the second best team at points in the paint in the NBA behind the Pistons.
Another turnover at the top of the key. They turn defense and offense quick, man. Jordan Poole with a breakaway steal and a dunk. 38-45.
Yeah.
Scrappy team. It's like you don't want to get those types of teams confidence because you're right. They got those players that might not mesh on a consistent basis, but if they get hot, you're going to be in for a freaking long night. You don't want that with the freaking Pelicans.
Yeah.
Like on your night off, they're going to come back home and play a lot more home games, but these are the ones that you want to be able to vulture and eat. You're not resting Cade Cunningham because you're saying that this game doesn't matter. You're resting Cade because you're saying we're still good enough to win the game.
Right.
And that's what you want to see. Now it's the and one. I think that one was on beef stew. It's 40-45. Pelicans are being scrappy, man.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, look, this is a
like
team
doing
that's
little
got
elbows,
talented
too,
players, man, up and down.
Tough move.
It's why a lot of teams are calling them about their players. We'll see how.
They're lying,
We'll see.
Chris. They're lying, Flatty.
What about not
Tell me
trading
we
Trey?
don't want to trade nobody.
They don't want to trade Trey, and I wouldn't either. Look, I want Trey Murphy on the Pistons, so I'm not gonna say too much. All I'm saying though is if I'm a GM, there's no way I'm trading a player that's dropping 40, shooting good.
Don't
You know
let
what
Joe
I'm
do
saying?
much
Like
hitters,
I'm just not
Cut
doing
his
it.
mic off.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, man. I'm not doing it. That's
But with the Pelicans,
that's
who
exactly
have
what you want.
been trying to figure this formula out for I don't know how long, even when they were good, it still was like we know y'all ain't serious though. So it's like
Right.
I don't know, man. That's a tough one for me because you have an opportunity to be able to supercharge things, but how much does Tobias Harris and Jaden Ivey supercharge things for you?
Yeah.
That's probably the conundrum. Most people are probably looking at Trey Murphy and saying like, nah, we don't think he's a superstar though.
And people are valuing the Pistons picks, man. The team that the Pistons get compared to a lot this season, which is lofty expectations in my opinion, because
What a
they have
pass!
they haven't achieved that yet, is Oklahoma City Thunder.
Is Sass okay?
People are looking at this team as a team that, that has a very, very bright and long future ahead of it. And as you do with Cade Cunningham, going back to the window. That's why I won't fully crash out if they don't make a big move. But I think it's fair to crash out if they don't make a move.
The only reason I won't is because they're sitting in first right now. But I get it because the Tigers are the most recent example.
Yep.
They're the team that went into the All-Star game with 6 All-Stars, number 1 team in baseball, I believe, at the time. Their lead in the division was the largest lead out of any team, and they just cratered, bro. Cratered.
Yeah.
Well, to the point that we were wondering, like, are they going to even get in? So I get people like that, but I thought that even though they had a good first half of the season, I thought that theirs was built more on people playing well above.
Right.
With this Pistons team, when you look at the whole roster, I'm not looking at too many people that are playing well above what I thought they would be. That's the interesting thing. It's translated because their defense is translating into a lot more wins than last year. But who on this team right now is playing well above what you thought?
Nobody, really.
That's what I'm saying. It's just kind of like
Duran's November was crazy. I'll say that. Duran's
It
November
was.
was crazy. But now that you showed me that ceiling, I'm holding you to that ceiling.
Let's go, Dennis Jenkins.
I mean, look, you can argue Asar is the same, if not worse, and that's not something you expect from a younger player. So,
But they knew that they said we have something special.
yeah,
I remember at me today, the players are stepping saying, look, we're bought in. JB Bickerstaff said we're a special group. He said he's been around basketball for a long time and that there's something special about our group. And when they said that, we were all like, yeah, okay, sure. Make that trade, though.
Oh my
Now
gosh,
they're first
you got to
place.
get that rebound. That
You
was
see what I'm
just
saying?
bad
They're in
communication.
first place.
Yeah.
So that's the conundrum. We're scared because of what we saw with our other teams, but they're sitting here saying, well, we did things the right way. We're building on something that is a lot more, substance than fluff. With the Tigers, a lot of people could say, no, we knew that you guys had no bats. We knew that you guys only had one real pitcher.
Yeah.
But with the Pistons, they have legitimately 2 All-Stars. Well, soon 2 All-Stars.
I don't know, man. A lot of the media is not talking about Duran as a lock anymore. That conversation is tailed off for them. So it's
Can I ask you
interesting to see
something,
what
though?
they'll vote. What?
We look at All-Star and the way it's set up. It's set up to be USA versus the world team, right?
Yeah.
If the USA doesn't have a center to put out there, then they have to get someone. So
It ain't gonna be Bam this year. He
it ain't gonna be
sucks.
Bam. So I mean,
Bam
who are you gonna put
sucks.
out? I mean, you look at who they claim
Yeah.
were the East All Stars, and you look at between both of them, they don't have a player. Cade Cunningham is their biggest player at 6'6".
That's a good point. I mean, how many
So-
American centers are better than Jalen Duran right now? Think he's the best, right?
I can't think of any.
That would be a good thing.
What's
Find
that?
out the best
I can't think of
American-born
any.
players at each position.
Depending on how you count AD. But
No,
other than
he's
that-
hurt. No, I can't. No,
Yeah.
he's not. He hasn't played.
But I mean, I'm saying when healthy.
Doesn't matter. He hasn't
conversation
played.
Well, I know
Terminator in
that
the
doesn't
chat.
apply to All Star, but I'm saying in general. In
Yeah.
general, the question.
Terminator in the chat said, where the F is Cade at? He's injured tonight, man. Illness and back and really just
Rest.
probably load management.
Rest.
Yeah, I don't think they could add a third injury, so I think that's why the wrist wasn't mentioned. But I'm sure that'll be tended to as well.
It's like some weird law. You add a third thing, and then he has to go to the blue tent.
I think they just I think they just got lazy typing that shit. They're like, man, all right, no, yeah. No, man, I'm impressed with this Pistons team so far. I'll do this. We'll do this as we're watching the game and talking throughout the game. On the heavyweights, I did a segment where we gave report card grades for the starters and then the 3 young guys. And we just kind of went through it, and it was a fun little segment because now we're officially, this is a 42nd game of the season, so we are halfway through the season legitimately. Nice rebound from Asar, kick out to Ivy, no longer 100%, but a good look. Sneakily, he's pulling up from deep 3 too. He's not just pulling up right on the line, but
It looks like he's trying to change his style of play, and you see him limping there. He's
Yeah.
limping. That's why, like with Ivy, is
Yeah,
the
he's-
type of injury he has. It literally takes a year of
Yes.
playing through it, and then your offseason rehab
Yeah.
and rest, and then he's gonna be right.
Which
again.
that's one thing that I get. And look, I'm even in the camp of I'm willing to move Ivy if the right player comes back in return. But I will also give Trajan that rope if he wants to say, you know what? No, like he needs a year, because we've accepted on streams that Ivy just needs a year of basketball to get right. Like he just does. I don't think during the grind of the NBA season where you're playing every other day, you're practicing, all of that stuff, I just don't think you're giving your body enough rest time to heal up and get to that 100%. I don't think it's conditioning now as much. I think it's more so just the body just has to have proper time to heal, and the grind of the NBA season is wearing on him. But we can start there. We can start there with Ivy. What would you grade his season so far?
It's a little tough, man, because coming off an injury, he's actually shown some flashes of what I thought he could be. And what's missing are the things I thought would be missing with this injury. So, honestly, with him, I give him an incomplete. But if I'm being forced, I would give him a C-.
Yeah.
Just above a D+, because he's had some good games. He's shown some good flashes. He's been on minute restrictions. But there are some things that you would like to see him do a little bit better. There's some times where he gets a little careless because he can't just blow past people right now. He gets a little too caught up in wanting to dribble the ball, putting the ball on the yo-yo and all that. And as my coach used to call it, playing patty cake. And that's not the type of baller he is.
Yeah.
But I see him trying to adjust to the fact that the speed and the burst just isn't there right now. And that's why we probably see him pulling up from 3 a little bit deeper now. So,
Embiid ain't American, by the way. Embiid ain't American, by the way. I know he played for Team USA, but that was a cheat code. That was a cheat code. He almost blew it for Team USA, actually. But yeah, that doesn't count. Yeah, I think you answered it correctly. I think if you're just going objectively, like based on the facts without the context of it, then yeah, you give it a D+. But then if you're grading it with the curve that you're giving them, yeah, I think a more fair answer is an incomplete or a C- because of the fact that, or like C, because
he's
you have
rehab.
seen.
He just literally
like,
got back.
To me, this season,
a month and a half ago.
To me, this season though, he has shown that. Okay, now we could put to bed that he's never going to be a shooter. Rest. Now, is he going to be an inconsistent, streaky shooter? Yes, but there have been plenty of great streaky shooters. J.R. Smith is one that comes to mind. That's a player that I would have always loved to have on my team.
Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, Jamal Crawford. Like, those players go through slumps, and that's okay, but they've overall proven to be good shooters. I think Ivy, different player than those guys, but I think that the streakiness of Jaden Ivey is the only thing that's like that's a knock, but the shooting is there. And that's something that if you're going forward with Ivy is very promising if you're assuming that he can get back to physically where he was and then improve on that and get a feel, because if he is a real deal shooter next to Cade Cunningham, then that deletes the question of the age-old question of can they fit together. So to me, I'd go CC-. What about guy guarding the ball right now, Asar Thompson?
Yeah, I was about to update people real quick. 47-56. Pistons lead the Pelicans, about 5 minutes left in the game. Pistons three-point shooting still at 50% for the game, and guess what? They've got those Pelicans. They knocked them back down from 44 to 28. So hopefully the Pistons can keep up this momentum. And Tobias Harris right now has been sort of, I guess he's playing that settling type role right now.
Yep.
So he's the last bucket for the Pistons off of a back down in the paint. But what player were you going to next? Asar Thompson, for just great in defense, A.
Yeah, that's true.
Offensively is where I expect a little more. He's had his playthrough year, which was last year. Mm-hmm. You know, coming back from the injury, not getting the whole season, not being in game shape. Mm-hmm. So this year, goodness gracious, the defense for him is the reason why I'm gonna give him a C. Mm-hmm. He is at a career high in some of his averages, including scoring. Yeah. But it hasn't been to the level of effectiveness that I believed he could get to.
Right.
You look at his athleticism, you look at his speed, you look at his handle, you look at the successful plays, and you're like, I swear that can happen more. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me looking at things the wrong way, but I would like to see Asar Thompson be somebody who in time can like tighten up the handles a little bit, especially if he's going to be somebody that they can depend on or look to be one of those secondary facilitators in the lineup with Cade Cunningham. And so, honestly, beyond just his scoring, I think that's been what I've been the most disappointed in, I guess, in this game. I'm looking for point Asar. I'm looking for him to be able to go out there and do the things that we saw in his overtime elite tape, do some of the things we've seen him do throughout his career to this point. But this year it looks like, and I see him, he got the ball in his hand this quarter. I thought he's been really, really good with that. But I want to see him be able to be, because I think his first play was off of a pick and roll to Duran. He got the lob up. The second play, he got the post up with Tobias. And so more of this stuff, the aggressiveness and things of that nature, and putting himself in position to knock down. So, yeah, with the defense, I give him a C.
Yeah,
I give him a solid C.
I'm not far off. I have a C- only because I think we're saying the same thing. Because to me, it comes down to you are a young player. With young players, you expect improvement. So I'm looking at my expectations for Asar, and he's gone up in a point or two per game, but he's also taking another shot. His efficiency is overall slightly worse. Free throw worse. So to me, you haven't really progressed in anything. Like, the question to me would be, why could you give him higher than a C minus? Because where is the area that he has shown improvement this season? And so far, you can't really point to one. And that's discouraging. But again, he's still a damn good player. He's still a player that you want on your team, that all 30 teams, if he was available, would be calling and asking for him. So to me, we'll see. Next year's a contract year. Contract year tends to be a really big thing. We're seeing that with Jalen Duran. I'm not out on Asar by any means, but if I'm being honest and judging it by the season he's had, I'd say a C minus is a range, just because I haven't seen progression yet. And we still have a second half of the season, so we'll see.
And it's a little different to me. With Jalen Duran, the skills that we're seeing right now are skills that they're unleashing that I have seen him do since he's been here in Detroit. When I get to go to the practices, I would post videos, and people would be like, why is he practicing that? Why is he practicing handles? Why is he practicing stuff from the top of the key? Well, now he's doing that stuff, and it's turning him and transforming him into an all-star level player. With Asar Thompson, though, I haven't seen that package. He's kind of just a raw basketball player who they're able to mold. And so it's a little bit different with him. With Jalen Duran, he was the type of player who, even in Memphis, you could see certain things like this that we see him doing today. So that's where I'm like, they only had to make sure they honed that skill set of Duran's, where with Asar's, they're going to have to teach these skill sets to him. They're going to have to teach him how to, do certain aspects of getting to the rim, use his body in the post-ups, because for the longest, his only post-up was that little spin, that half spin and shot. That was the only thing he would do. He would go into the paint, half spin, and pull up, and it looked like his most comfortable shooting motion. So, that's kind of, at least with Asar, where I'm hoping they can get him with somebody in the offseason to really, really help him develop. And one more thing on Ivy Weezy. I don't know if this was Weezy D313. What up, though, man? It's good to see you in here. But
shout out.
He believes that Ivy is back physically. He thinks it's all mental. I think it's both.
I think it's both, yeah.
From what I do know,
we literally just saw him limping.
It's the leg and it's the arthroscopic surgery. When someone's coming back from that, and Dr. Pierce will be able to back this type of stuff up too, there is stress that happens on other parts of the body, and that's what Ivy is dealing with and coming back. So
perfect example, Asar. Dunk that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Those types of things.
But we're seeing that with Duran this year, right?
I was just about to say, but last year and the years before, we would say, man, we want to see Duran do this. How do we start the season? Saying he's bigger than everybody, and we want Duran to understand that. And that's why I'm like,
him a demigod.
Yeah, Black Thor.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe. I believe next year for Asar Thompson is that year. For Jaden Ivey, it's a little bit different because it is about the athleticism. It is about the speed. Jaden Ivey used to be able to just run around people. Now we're seeing him go up for layups, and it's just kind of just not even getting to the rim. Like before, he used to not finish at the rim, but at least he was above the rim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, oh, you just put too much English on the ball.
Yeah.
Now it's like, bro, you went up for a finger roll and you hit the bottom of the backboard. That's the difference. And so I think either he's going to become a more savvy ball player, which we see the streaks of it, or I think he's going to fall off, man, if he doesn't get that burst and that athleticism back. But what I've heard is that for the type of injury he has, it does take a year of playing through it. So it'll be interesting to see.
And I think the Pistons will have that opportunity to evaluate that, because I don't think if they keep him through the trade deadline, the market for him in the offseason isn't going to be robust. I think he's going to be able to sign a team-friendly contract, given all the questions around him. So if you're the Pistons, I think you can afford to play the waiting game, especially in this CBA. Teams are scared of any contract
because they barely know how to operate it.
Yeah.
You got a few teams that really understand it, and the Pistons are one of those teams, and you have
Which
others
is
who
huge.
The Pistons are like, when these other teams realize they're up against it, the Pistons can just swoop in. How were they a benefactor last year with Dennis Schroeder? Because they played it savvy. Michael Blackstone is one of those guys in the league who understands this CBA and the cap sheet and all that type of stuff better than a lot of other people. So the Pistons front office is stocked with some of the best. Pistons, man, they're up 65-58, 119 left in the quarter.
Man, I'm excited to see this trade deadline. But speaking of CBA stuff, and that's why it's going to be interesting, because I know from what you've told me, from what I've seen with my own eyes, that this is a smart, savvy front office that understands the CBA that everybody is terrified of, like you just said. And I'm interested to see, because what my understanding is of the CBA, I've went through the document, I've talked to people. My understanding of CBA is that if you're framing it from the Pistons perspective, it's actually this trade deadline up until next trade deadline is the prime window for the Pistons to make an opportunity, because next year they will likely look at flirting with the first apron. They could even potentially end up getting under it if they make some moves. Even with the Duran looming extension and Ivy's extension, whatever that price tag ends up being, you can still probably be a non-apron team. But then it's after that when you have to lock up a SAR, and if a SAR commands any type of money, that's when you're going to be first apron, second apron. That's when you're going to be capped out. So the Pistons really have, from my understanding, they have until next trade deadline, until February 2027, to really make a all-in, quote-unquote, move. And I'm curious to see what this front office does.
It's different, though, when you have two players that you do believe are ascending to all-star stardom. Because if you have those guys and you go the homegrown route, then you already have your max players, two of them. So they're in actually a really great position.
They are.
They're the health of the Pistons organization in terms of what they can be long term. They're in a great position. It's just a matter of how they're going to play it, and
we got screwed in several drafts, so we're still here.
Yeah, we got screwed.
Yeah,
with players that other people want. You look at some of how these drafts went. It's like the Ron Holland draft. You know what? I like Ron Holland. Like, there's some other players that went ahead of him.
I like Matas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a couple, but there's like a couple.
Yeah.
The way that draft fell and whatnot, it's like there's just a couple. And I like Ron Holland, man. I'm just being foolish.
Duncan from deep. Oh.
Duncan is, since January 7th, he's shooting 58% from behind the arc. Number one in the NBA.
Damn.
Talk about in fuego.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
That's an A+ if we're doing report cards. Duncan Robinson is an A+.
Yeah, I give him an A+. There was a couple games that left a lot to be desired, but overall, I feel like he's just done his job. We said this from the beginning of the season. Before they played a game, I told y'all exactly what to expect from him. So if he's done that to a better tune than he's done anywhere else, I got to give him an A.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it shows, and Duncan Robinson's A+ to me shows the health of the Pistons organization and Cade Cunningham to be able to turn over these shooters and year after year produce career years. Their best career years. So, that's an A+ to me.
This is what I mean. Come on, Asard. You see what I'm saying? We can't have point
You're
Asard if
second
he's
ahead
trying
of me,
to
so.
dribble. Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good.
My fault.
You're good. I'm gonna see it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna see it. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you can break it down.
You'll see it. And those are the things. I know it's at the end of the quarter, and so you're a little pressed or a little go. I would have rather I see your face. I would have rather him just did the hezzy and pulled up. If you're not going all the way to the rim and just jumping, because I don't think he understands. That short corner where he's at, that 12 feet and out, just jump and throw the ball at the rim.
Yeah.
I don't need you trying to dribble to people. I don't need you. Until your handles are that tight, it don't need to happen. Look at Cade. Cade doesn't try to even split the double team that way either. So that's why I'm like, there is some teaching that's going to have to be done with Asard Thompson. They're just right now, I'm sure there is teaching being done, but there's only so much you can do in season. But you have to play him. You put the ball in his hands. There is natural ability, but sometimes it gets you into trouble, just like we just saw there.
And you got to think, when teams don't respect your shooting, when they don't respect that you can even pull up for that mid-range shot, then they're going to continue to sag off like that. So when he does make that move to split two defenders, they're already playing off. So they're already knowing exactly what he's going to do. They're not afraid that, he's going to pull up for this jumper. They're not fearing that, so they're not going to play tight enough to where if you did split them, then you'd have, more space toward the rim.
Yeah,
they're already playing off.
And what wound up happening is he got baited. At the end of games, you usually go into an ISO motion. And so the team is probably in an all-out because they know that he's probably going to try and attack against a player that they thought, hey, he's a little bit slower-footed. Yeah. He got baited. When you put your whole team all out, then they know we can send a double team to him quick, and no one's going to be cutting behind me. That's where the Pistons have to do a better job at the play calling and the play design. And you know what I've seen them do? They've done that this year. Mm-hmm. I've seen them in the first half of games be stagnant, and they come out in the second half of games, and you see more cutting action and more dives. Things a lot of us have cried for a long time. We're like, yo, you got Ivy, you got Asar. Then they even added Ron Holland. We're like, you got some young bucks now. You know, we can even talk about Marcus Sasser and Dennis and add those guys in there too. But you got some young bucks. Even the guys that was pulling out of the G League, bro. Look at Tolu Smith. Comes up here and it's just energy. So it was like, I want to see these guys use that to their advantage. And when they do, you see Asar Thompson getting dunks and catching lobs. When they don't, it gets so stagnant. And then you're asking him to do things that I believe is not his best natural ability. I get it. You're going to have to play these guys in real game situations to continue to have them improve because that's a natural part of it. But it's like, goodness gracious, I'm hoping when they go into this season with Asar Thompson, there is a straight like, hey, we're focusing on increasing the skills. Like, when you go to 2K and it's like, what you working on it?
Yeah.
The skill set.
Yeah.
So much so that you're going to be on one of these skills challenges one year. Like, that's what I'm hoping. Because if Asar's, I'm telling you guys, even beyond his shooting, because I think it's going to be harder for Asar Thompson to get the consistent outside shooting than it would be the handles. If he gets the handles, he's going to be a monster. His athleticism, his speed, he's going to be a monster if he can actually get the handles down pat and then not just the fit. Like, he's going to have to get adept with the passing because I thought that there was a play to be made at the end of that half. And there's games where it seems like it's clicking for him and in other games where it's like it's not there. So I like obviously all of us like the potential, but I would have hoped we would have seen a little bit more of it this year from the offensive side.
And when you talk about the cutting and stuff like that, that works really well in Ron Holland's case. Because how often do we see Ron Holland, when he cuts to the basket, the difference between him and Asar is that when Ron Holland cuts to the basket, he's cutting to the basket with bad intentions.
Bro,
Asar is cutting to the basket, but he's almost like he's scared of what's going to happen. What if they follow me and I got to go to the free throw line? And
just to tap on that real quick, even when they swing the ball at the top of the key, when Asar gets the ball to him, what does he do? He waits. Or he'll triple threat. Or even pump fake. When they swing the ball to Ron Holland, what do you see? The ball, before it's hitting his hand, it looked like he's already trying to dive all the way into the lane. That boy will miss 1,000,000 layups at the rim, and all of them will be hard layups. All of them. And that's where I'm just like, Asar, do you understand if you did that? I will never forget that video I posted of Asar and Ron Holland working out. And I used to think that they were similar players until I realized Asar Thompson is a whole lot bigger than Ron Holland, Pauls. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, like this is a problem because you see how effective Ron Holland is at going to the rim, but he does not have the build, the height, the measurables of an Asar Thompson who can literally dunk on a center and push that center into next week. Yeah, that's where I'm hoping, just like with Jalen Duren, who finally realized I'm that dude. Oh man, I almost said something else. Dog, like. Asar Thompson's you are that dude. Like, get there, man. You got it. And that's where I'm hoping that the confidence, because I agree with something he was talking about. I want to throw it back to you, Jeff. Sometimes I do believe it's that I don't want to go to the line and miss the free throws.
That's
one
a
second.
real thing.
Before we do that, Jeff, I do just want to give this super chat shout out because I seen it a minute ago. I ain't say that with the $5 super chat saying, can't wait to enjoy the second half and unwind from the day with you boys, giving me that prime Pistons insight. Kool-Aid, are you going to VIP All-Star stuff?
I'm supposed to be there, man. They sent the email, and I will know for certain soon. I was able to be there for Cade's first All-Star. That was out in Golden State. Man, I got to go to both arenas, the old one and the new one, and it was an awesome experience. I'm hoping that everything's go with L.A. I never like to assume. Like, people are like, bro, you're there. But I still like it until it's official. Like,
yeah, you don't want to get.
I don't, So I'm looking forward to it, though, man. If it happens and if it doesn't, then I will work out something here.
Yeah. Shout out to I Say That, man, one of the biggest supporters of the Pistons stream, of the network in general, man. So shout out to you, Ben.
I do know.
Pleasure to have you on with us, and a pleasure for me to be able to be a part of your daily routine, because I know what that unwinding routine is. I do that myself at the end of the day. I have my podcast and my platform. So for me to be that to you, greatly appreciate it, man. Shout out to all that you do.
Shout out to I Say That. I'm glad you asked that question too, man. Like, we're already planning some stuff behind the scenes, and so Bray's supposed to be out there as well. It's going to be a fun time, man. And it's going to be some behind-the-scenes stuff. We're going to try and ask some questions. So as we get closer to that time, hey, you guys, throw stuff in the chats, throw things in the streams, and we'll try and make sure when we get to those media sessions, we're able to ask. Last year, it was pretty cool being in those scrums and listening to the different questions that were being asked to Cade. They did look out for Detroit media that was there, which was awesome. That was an awesome thing, because these scrums can get big.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was just kind of some of the ones I saw at Rising Stars. They were like, no. They were like, bro, we know that this game is going on right now, or this event's going on now. Go down now, because Cade Cunningham is going to be at the podium in 30 minutes. I'm like, what? So I have to wait at the podium for 30 minutes? They're like, bro, get down there. I'm like, but what's the name's thing was like 20 people. They're like, bro, Cade Cunningham, go. Went down there, got in our spots, and then when people – like a crowd, dog. I'm like, it's like 80 people. They were like, this is not even going to be it.
Hey, man.
You can
it's going to be crazy this year.
Because Bleacher Report had Funny Marco there.
Yeah.
And so you can see from his perspective, his scrum is huge, bro. Like, it was dope. So it's awesome to be able to get down there and see our guy. And he was talking about effectively wanting to be the face of the league. So now I'm wondering what crazy stuff he's going to talk about this year.
Man, dude. I mean, that's going to be Cade's stock nationally. I mean, we knew what he was years ago. You and I have been – calling it for years. Everybody in the city that's been seeing it, has been betting on Cade. But now it's like everybody's on board. So this year at All-Star, brother, go up. Might have to have one of those tents outside, like you're waiting for like one of those games to drop, and you have to wait outside till midnight.
Yeah,
it might be one of those things.
I do want to quickly just go through this halftime box score.
Yeah,
68-62. Pistons are leading the Pelicans, and as much as you are hearing us talk about Asar Thompson is leading the Pistons and scoring along with Jalen Duren. They each have 10 points. They each are 4 of 7 from the floor, and they each are leading the Pistons in rebound respectively. Jalen Duren has 9, and Asar Thompson 6 rebounds on the night. So they're doing a lot. 2 assists apiece for both of them. They are doing a lot, and I got to see those stocks for those guys. And as I suspected, Jalen Duren, 1 steal, 1 block, and Asar Thompson also has a steal. There was another play I thought could have been a block for Asar, but they called a foul. So these guys are balling right now. I don't have much complaint with Asar Thompson. I would like for the handles to be a little bit more tightened on a night without Cade. You would like to see his facilitation be able to go up just another notch. But with the emergence of Danius Jenkins, I can understand why they would rely on him a lot more in that starting lineup. Just going through the rest of this box score for the first half, you got Tobias Harris, 7 points, 3 of 8 from the floor. Duncan Robinson, 9 points, 3 of 8 from the floor as well. Danius Jenkins, 7 points. He's still 100% from the floor, 3 of 3, but he's only played 8 minutes. He did have 2 turnovers early in that game. So I do wonder if that's what – there was a stretch where they lost that lead and he had some issues with the facilitation. As we go to the bench, Isaiah Stewart has played big all game long. For him, it's 11 minutes, 8 points. 3 of 6 from the floor for him, and he does have a block on the night. Ron Holland, he's gotten 10 minutes, 1 point, but, he's more about the energy and the hustle and the defense more so than what you see in the box score. Javonte Green, 3 points on 6 minutes. Marcus Sasser, who I hope we can see a little bit more of as the season goes on, 13 minutes tonight. 7 points, 2 of 6 from the floor. 3 assists for Marcus Sasser. He actually leads the Pistons in assists tonight, which is surprising. And then Jaden Ivey, 11 minutes, 6 points, 2 of 4 from behind the arc, 2 of 4 from the floor. So all of Jaden Ivey's points, shot attempts tonight were from behind the arc. And that's where I was saying, it seems like he's trying to find ways to overcompensate or make up for the fact that the athleticism and speed isn't there. Yes. It doesn't mean always shoot the three. I do believe that there is something to calling for even the pick and roll. You know, even if you don't have the speed to necessarily make something happen, making the defense move around is better than trying to patty cake in front of somebody and they rip you up. You know, last game with Jaden Ivey, there's a couple times he did that. But the reason why I didn't really want to crush him is because I thought overall he played a decent game and hit some big shots to help them beat the Boston Celtics. But, you know, I like what he's been able to do. But in terms of being that guy that we thought he could be before the injury, I don't know. I'm just going to call it. I don't believe that's happening this season at all. But I can't hate on this. Still, him being a contributor in a positive way for this Pistons team this year.
And another thing for Jaden Ivey, especially in a game without Cade Cunningham, we talk about, you know, calling if he's going to call for a pick and roll or whatnot. Him and Jalen Duren used to have that connection when Cade wasn't there. That, you know, Jaden Ivey almost was the guy who was throwing the lobs to Jalen Duren. He had that connection where they were feeding off each other. I don't really see that same connection. I don't see Jaden Ivey even, you know, being aggressive enough to even look for that connection or to look elsewhere and be a true facilitator, especially with Cade Cunningham out. I kind of want Jaden Ivey to be, you know, take over a more of a role in facilitating the basketball to his teammates. And that's something that we can't see go away just because of an injury, because that has to do with your basketball skill. And
but
it
is though. That's the hardest part is that the injury has taken away certain aspects of his game that were super effective.
Yeah.
And that's the components. Like when he was faster, that pick and roll mattered because think about how the defense has to react. If you do not take and hedge another defender, when Jaden Ivey's coming off a pick and roll, then he's all the way to the basket and putting a foul on your center. And so now that he can't get around that fast, and the person that's defending him can just fight through the screen, now he's like, whoa! I saw him the other night against the Celtics. No. It was actually a game I think I watched on. No, I think it was against the Celtics. We came across a pick and roll, and the guy just fought through the pick, so he didn't have the advantage. The defender that was guarding the center just rolled with the big. So then Jaden Ivey had to back out, looked up at the shot clock, 7 seconds, and he's pat. Wasn't shaking nobody. Got around him eventually and then lost the ball.
Yeah.
And it's like that type of stuff, man. And that's never even been him to sit there and this, that, and the other. And that's where I realized like he's stressing and pressing at this point.
He was always just go.
Always go.
Yeah.
To the point that we'd be like, stop! Like, slow down, bro.
True.
Even Dwayne Casey would step to the podium and say, we got to teach him to go fast by going slow. I'm like, am I watching a movie Cars right now or something?
Yeah. Most of the time.
But that's what they were talking about.
Most of the time, he would get turnovers from being way too fast.
Yes. And now you see it just a little. I mean, we see him limping around the court. I've seen this kind of all season. And that's the part of it to me where I'm just like, man, you know, I want to see him be that as well. I just don't believe he can be that this year, which is tough.
Yeah, man. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be a tough thing to figure out. I'm okay with if you hold him past this trade deadline and you say, you know what, I really just want another year to figure this out, because it does seem like at some point maybe you do got to cut your losses and say, I can't keep giving this guy a year because something seems to happen. But I think in fairness to him, if you want to give him another year, I'm okay with that, because again, I don't think the market is going to be robust. Like, he might sign a short 2 years plus a team deal, or maybe even sign the qualifying offer and try to bet his luck next season. Like, we don't know what Ivy will do in the offseason, but
I give him,
I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I think
in terms of the Pistons, if the Pistons don't keep him in the offseason, it's because they didn't want to. But, like, they will have all the ability in the world to keep him because he is a restricted free agent, and I don't think his market is going to be that high in this climate that is very hyper scared of the CBA.
I can see – I wouldn't be surprised if he wound up getting one of those kind of deals that Stewart got.
Yeah.
But maybe 3 years rather than the 4-year blip. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if I am a proponent of, you know what, I don't mind keeping Jaden Ivey. I don't mind at all. I don't mind – them waiting this year out, because if the trade value is lower, then you're in a position right now to where you're going to sell yourself short.
Right.
Since he's already on a rookie contract, waiting a year doesn't cost them unless they had trades lined up that they just refuse to pull the trigger on, which, let's be realistic. If we're going to take the perspective of the other team, who are you trading for? What are you trading for Ivy? Are you seeking out an Ivy trade with the Pistons? No team is doing that right now.
Yeah.
Think about that. Not that he's not a talented player, but he doesn't fit to the scope of what they're trying to do to go out there and win a championship this year, realistically, because he's still trying to get back. And so that's the component where I'm like, you know what, if you wait a year, you see what the qualifying offers are, you might get yourself a deal. They were ready to give, Malik Beasley, who was very effective for them, effective like a 3 for 45 type of a deal. And I could see Jaden Ivey being a player who gets something similar, like around that $12, $15 million a year type range. Stu got, 16 a year? Mm-hmm. And he's a rotation level player right now.
Yeah.
Now, is that going to be enough for Jaden Ivey? I don't know the leveraging power that Jaden Ivey has. You know what I mean? Just to be honest with you. So it's going to be interesting. The Pistons do start this second half 68-62, 11:39 left in the third quarter. So things are just getting underway. And you know what, man? I'm looking for, honestly, Dennis Jenkins to settle things down just a little bit more in the second half. Only playing the few minutes that he did, less than 10 minutes in that first half as the starter. Dennis Jenkins comes out and hits a 3. I don't know where you are at the time, but shout out to Dennis Jenkins, man. You don't get rattled. I can tell you that much. People can try and speed him up a little bit. People can try and double team him, and everybody's skill has a cap.
He's a pro.
But he does not get rattled. I can at least tell you that much.
He's a pro, man. I'm with you. He's got to be one of the players to watch in the second half. And then I thought you named it well, Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Like to see Tobias Harris get going, get some isolation. Duren with his double-double there.
Stop throwing the ball away like that. What the heck?
Aaron, where are you at with this game so far? Well, hold on. Before we do that, we'll wait till Jeff so he can give you the camera switch. But we'll get your thoughts on what this game and what you're seeing so far. I think, Tobias will absolutely have to be essential in this second half for me offensively if the Pistons want to get this done, and then Dennis is the other one. Where are you at with this, Aaron? What are you looking for in the second half?
I think it's really going to come down to the end of the game. And my screen actually went away. It says manage devices on my screen here, but I was paying attention until about 5 minutes ago. But I think anytime Cade's not in the game with this young squad, it's going to come down to the end of it. You really see that skill set that Cade has when he's not in the game, his ability to, finish the game. He's a really clutch player.
Closer, yeah.
Yeah, so I know last time we played, it was looking really good the whole game. Went in the game where Cade wasn't in the game, and then right towards the end of the game, we fell apart.
So who do you think kind of does their best filling those shoes?
I think in that last game I'm talking about in particular, Jalen wasn't in that game, so I think Jalen is gonna be the person to really,
Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
Woo! Crossover from the top of the key. I'm sorry.
Jalen Duren.
73-64, third quarter, 10 minutes. What a freaking move.
Yeah.
This is stuff
like
I was
a guard.
in practice last year and posting it online the last 2 years. And people are like, stop doing that. Those same people right now are sharing this move on social media. Shout out to you, Jalen Duren.
Shout out Jalen Duren. Duncan Robinson shot Duncan for the defense.
Just as Aaron was talking about him. So I get it now. That's what we have to do with Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
We talk about these Pistons, and then all of a sudden – good things happen.
Especially Jalen Duren, man. Please keep talking about
What a
Jalen
move, dog. With the underhand reverse.
Yeah. I think
was that on Derek Queen, too?
They're showing that cross again.
Yeah, that was on Derek Queen, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
By the way, Jordan Poole with 10 points. When you talk about there are those types of players across the league, Jordan Poole is one of those guys. And when I told you that stat about Duncan Robinson, I saw FanDuel flashed up the same thing. The top 3-point shooters since January 7th. Who was number 5th on that list? Jordan Poole. Up over 44% shooting since January 7th.
And Jeff, I don't know if you're busy in there. I know you're doing things in the TD booth, but your guy Trey Murphy not having a great audition. Or is he having a great audition because he's lowering the price?
That's right, Chris. That's right. He's having an off game, so he knows. He's like, if I have an off game, then they'll trade me to Detroit, and then I can truly show who I am.
Did you, Kool-Aid, did you hear that quote that came out of Trey Murphy when he talked
say?
about being an all-star?
What did he say?
He said, loosely, I'll find the quote directly, but he said, man, I feel like I have the ability to be an all-star, but it's hard to be an all-star when you're on a losing team. And he said that last week. I'm just saying that. I mean, you come to this team, you're not on a losing team, brother. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's the same stuff that K did say here in a Piston uniform, not necessarily as verbatim, but he did say he understood that he wasn't going to get anything until they effectively started winning. And, I feel like there's a more savvy way. Good job out of Pistons, man, swinging the ball into Tobias Harris with a three-pointer. It puts them up 78-68. So they got their 10-point lead back with just under 9 minutes left in the third quarter, man. They're running. What a drop pass by Sar Thompson into Tobias. I thought Tobias should have tried to go up with that, but that's all right. He passes out to Dennis Jenkins, who misses the three. And the Pelicans throw it right away on a full-court heave when they were trying to catch the Pistons sleeping, man. Shout out to Derek Queen. Joe Dumars, man. Trade him to the Pistons. But
Yeah.
Derek Queen, man. He's had some flashes
Derek
this year.
Queen is an interesting player.
Got 5 assists tonight.
Yeah. That's another reason I think Zion's going to get moved, because they did pay a hefty price to get Queen, and I think they're just over the Zion experience at this point.
Here's a Sar Thompson, top of the key, passes it to Dennis.
But Jalen Duren, man, I would love Trey Murphy. And talk about what Trey Murphy said. That's interesting that you brought up that Cade said something kind of similar to that. I mean, again, this Piston team is very protective of their culture, just
Zion's
like other
going to the
Detroit
locker
sports
room.
teams.
Just a quick update. Yeah, I don't know what
Zion?
happened, but Zion Williamson is
Okay.
going to the locker room.
He always is.
Yeah.
He's same
That's
thing
what
as
I mean.
AD.
You guys see how long it takes
be
him
the
to
goon.
get into his move, Asar Thompson?
Yeah.
He said it could be the what?
Could be the goon. Could be a little mid-game goon session going on. But, no, I will say that Trey Murphy, I mean, that quote sounds like a guy that Trajan would want. Sounds like the type of mentality that Trajan would want a player to
Hey,
have
he
for
wants
the
a winner.
Pistons. So, I like that. I'm going to see if I can find the quote.
He's somebody who understands that the accolades you get personally are tied to how you help your team win. Shout out to Asar Thompson. He just walks up and takes the ball away from Derek Queen, who was trying to get around Jalen Duren in the paint. Duncan Robinson at the top of the key, passes it back up to Tobias Harris. Off the pick from Jalen Duren. And he got Derek Queen on him, man. Let's see what that defense be
This
about.
is his exact quote.
Toby off the rim. Derek Queen with the rebound. What up, though?
At the end of the day, you need to win games. That's just realistic. If you don't win games, you don't get rewarded with personal accolades. No
Yep.
matter how well I'm doing, it doesn't matter because we're not winning games.
Yeah, that was basically the way
That's
that
a Detroit
K
dog
took it.
right there. I'm just saying.
In this
Tracy.
new NBA, they switch things to that. If
Yeah.
your team is not winning, even for rookie stuff, then they basically are taking you
Which
out
is
the game.
why Duren's got to be an all-star. Because, you're really good disrespect this one-seed Piston and give them no – I get. Stretching a third all-star on this Piston roster would be would be very difficult to do.
Yeah.
But they damn sure got to get two. I get it. Duren, I went over it on the heavyweights yesterday, man. That's why I gave him a B+. I think I think the only reason it's not an A or an A- is because you showed me A+ in November.
Who you
You
talking
showed
about,
me Duren, yeah. You showed me a ceiling that I didn't know you had, brother. And now I'm going to hold you to that standard. I'm going to hold you to that ceiling.
I got to give him the A because
Yeah.
18 – basically, if you run up his numbers, 18, 11, and 2 for the big fella.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice, bro.
Yeah.
I got to give him the A.
Yeah, it still is 18, but it's been trending down. So we'll see.
And almost 2 stocks per game.
Yep.
That's he's been doing this
Yeah.
thing, man.
So,
70% from the floor.
Bottom line, that's an all-star, man. Point blank, end of discussion. What the hell? The year the Pistons get the 1 seed, we're just going to stop rewarding teams. You gave the Hawks 5 players. The Hawks got 5 players as the number 1 seed. Pistons can't get 2? Come on.
I think they definitely deserve it, and that's where I think what Jalen Duren is doing, he already deserves it.
Yeah.
I don't care about if a player goes through a little bit of a streak. Their average is at the end of the day is what their body of
I
work
agree.
is, and that's where I'm just like this guy is going out there and he's shooting 63% from the floor. You know, and it's not just lob dunks and fed baskets. This is him going out there in games where Cade isn't, where they don't really have good lob throwers, and he's going out there and he's doing work. We just saw him get the crossover on Derek Queen. Now, think about this. When we see Derek Queen do stuff like that to Joker, that's top 10 all over the place. Jalen Duren does this type of stuff pretty routinely, man. So that's why I actually respect the high field goal percentage from the floor from him, because it's not just all fed stuff. Like, I know when we had some centers in the past, a lot of it was based off of what was fed to them off putbacks. But with Jalen Duren, his nearly 18 and 11 is effectively off of him just being a dog. And I do believe that that type of stuff deserves to be rewarded, because nobody had the Pistons as the number 1 seed and on pace for 60 wins, except for maybe a few people out there in the world. Maybe. And so if we know that the Pistons have blown by everybody's expectations and people are saying, oh, yep, Jalen Duren is earning that max contract, well, then I think Jalen Duren also deserves to be an all-star too. You look at these other centers in the Eastern Conference, and I get it. They do things a little bit differently today in terms of the votes and how they put these teams together. But there's not too many people who's messing with Jalen Duren in this league. Dennis Jenkins with another turnover at midcourt. This is what got him pulled out the game a little bit earlier. It was a couple turnovers because he couldn't necessarily deal with the pressure of the New Orleans Pelicans, who are actually leading the Pistons right now in stocks. They have 15 stocks to the Pistons 14. The Pelicans have 10 steals, bro. So you already know when we get to the box score later on and we talk about the turnovers, the Pistons are going to have a lot of turnovers that we're going to talk about. And they're letting the team and the Pelicans, who they should honestly be blowing out, stick around because of second chance points and turnovers. Want to see the Pistons tighten up, but they still lead 81-72, 6:43 in the third quarter. But I feel like it might come down to what Aaron was saying. It might come down to some close moments in the fourth quarter.
It might.
We'll see if they get some separation here.
And yeah, like we're talking about here, this is a chance for Duren to build his all-star case.
Yeah.
Seriously. You know, you go in and you look like the best player on the court in the night when Zion Williams is out there and Cade Cunningham is not. Then I think that's a very strong case, no matter how it goes.
I like the designs and the plays that they're doing also to manufacture some things. Looking at Duren right now, Jenkins is just taking a lead for top scorer for the Pistons tonight. He has 12, but Jalen Duren already has 12 rebounds for the Pistons. And I do, but these are players that are stepping up in absence of Cade Cunningham, their superstar player. Dennis Jenkins being able to
great rotation by Duren, called for the foul, but great rotation.
Dennis being able to come off of the bench and put up 12 points on 4-6 shooting and knock down 2 of 4 from behind the arc with 3 assists is huge in the absence of a Cade Cunningham. And then Jalen Duren, you just talking about the big fella, man. This guy already has a double-double at 12 and 12, 5 of 8 from the floor. He's one of your more efficiently working big men as it relates to the offensive side and that field goal percentage. So, they have more than enough. This team is so ready for that Eastern Conference that when you talk about this Pistons team with no Cade Cunningham, this Pistons team with only one All-Star, no, I do believe that Jalen Duren deserves to be one, because I don't think that some of these games they've won without Cade, where Duren was in, I don't necessarily know how they look without a Duren and a Cade. Like, if they had no Duren here right now and you don't have the threat of who that guy is in that middle, I do wonder what more of this offense looks like. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Duren at this All-Star, because I believe, as you do, I think he deserves to be there just because of his play. Now, when you look at the Pistons winning and being number 1 and blowing past expectations, and this guy took a leap, then that too is something I'm going to say. The team's success should factor in, because we saw even the Celtics. How many players they get in?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And some of those players, what we traditionally even say, that's an all-star. Maybe not.
I mean, Drew Holiday got all NBAs, and I love Drew Holiday, but were you telling me seriously that he was a top 15 player that season? I don't think so.
But it was
25, sure, but
it was rewarded with the team's success in addition to with these. Because think about it, I do believe Jalen Duren is one of those top players, though. That's the difference. That you can look at the stats and see it, and that's where this guy deserves to be there.
Let's play the game. How many centers are you taking over Duren right now? Again, no, don't project
in the East or in the NBA.
Just in the NBA. Don't project the youth of everything. Yeah. Just
can we start there in the Eastern Conference?
Bar none talent. Yeah, okay.
Let's start there. We'll break it up
Now we
Giannis isn't a center.
Are we just talking just for the All-Star game or
No, just in general. Right
In
now,
general, like,
you're
what
taking
centers
them
you
as a
taking
player.
over?
Don't factor in the age or anything. Just performance.
2 years ago, we would have took Speedy Claxton.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Shout out Nick Claxton.
That's why I'm like, who? Is there anybody? Like, do we play that game?
So
we
the
just stay silent,
names
see
the
here
names
and
you'd mention would be Jared Allen,
Joel Embiid.
Joel
no?
Embiid.
I'm not taking Jared Allen over.
What are the other
Jalen
good
Duren.
centers in the East? Miles Turner's
is
playing
Evan-
like donkey this year.
Do
So
we
is
lump Evan Mobley in there, even though
so
he's
is
a four?
Bam.
The big fours, we can lump them in there. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well,
who-
then if that's the case, then maybe you throw Giannis in there, and so then Giannis would be the only quote unquote
he's
big
the, he'd
you'd
be
be
the
taking
only
in the
one
East.
that, yeah.
In the East, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Other
We
than,
start
you can make an argument for Cat.
for
What?
who?
Cat.
Oh
You
yeah.
can make
Cat.
an argument for him. He's up there. In
It's
the East.
fair. It still sounds icky, but you're right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Right now, I mean, they're
my
blaming
God. No.
they're blaming Cat for these losses. So
He's popping up in trade rumors now.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if the
He's
Knicks
being
wanna
linked
blow
to
it
the
up,
Hornets. Does it get
Hornets?
lower than that?
Listen, if
Magic
the Knicks want to
and what,
blow it
Hawks?
up, please do
Yeah, I
it.
think so.
Blow everything up. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Matter of
Well,
fact,
I told
I
people
would
that the
love
Knicks
it.
added to the all dysfunction list. Now
I
look
have
at
a-
them.
I
They
have a-
fired their coach, and now they're talking about getting rid of Cat.
I have a gut feeling that the Knicks are going to get it together. The Knicks or the Cavs, one of those two teams are going to get it together, and they're going to be a real threat by the end of the season.
I
You know
still
what's
think
gonna
the
happen?
Knicks,
two
the
teams.
Knicks are
They're gonna
still
lose to the
together.
Pistons.
It's fun to see them have like a little bad stretch.
I mean,
They're
9 of
still
11
third.
losses is not
They're
together.
still third in the East.
Yeah.
They still have the pedigree. They still have Jalen Brunson, who was your clutch player of the year from a year ago. This is just a stretch. You look at the Boston Celtics to start the season, and not too many people thought that they were going to be hot.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what I mean. Like, I think it's just the ebbs and flows. I know the Pistons are going to go through that time of the season where they lose, 4 of 7 games, and everyone, 5 of 8,
Maybe.
and everyone's like, oh, you know what, maybe.
I mean,
But if they did, that I would, with the Knicks, I got to
Right.
see a little bit more because both of these guys were all-stars or what was it? Not all-stars. Oh, yeah, both of these guys were all-stars last year. Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. So it's going to be interesting to see what these Knicks. Do you think it's as much to do about just the coaching change that they made? Because there's a lot of people out there now who believe that Mike Brown is actually not that guy. I thought it was a mistake of them to get rid of Tom Thibodeau right now.
I don't think Tibbs was the issue, or I get that Tibbs isn't the best coach in the NBA, but I think he's a good coach, and I think the roster was built for Tibbs, and they bought into Tibbs.
You're right.
So
You're right, Chris.
I
It
think-
was built for Tibbs.
I-
Having absolutely, 0 role players and
Yeah.
playing all your starters max
Exactly.
minutes, all throughout the season, and that's literally the Tibbs way. And they got away from that, and it
boy,
doesn't
do
look
they
good.
hate Mikal right now too. I've been seeing
I
the New
mean,
York
look,
Knicks
they gave up their future for him.
5
man.
picks for that guy. So interesting, but
Watch
tell
him
you
only
what.
get 2 back.
yeah, but
Now, if the Knicks are blowing it up, if there's one player I'd want off
They're
the
not
team,
gonna blow
it
it
would
up,
be
though.
OG.
They're not going to blow it up. They're trying to.
dude, I would love OG Anunoby on this team.
I would love that, but they're not going to blow it up. They're
Hell,
trying to.
I'd even like Mikal. I think Mikal's getting the short end of the stick there.
I don't think the guys are going anywhere.
Yeah.
I think that they're just looking to move on from
Yeah, I
Gat.
think this is just controversy right now. I think like I said, I think them or the Cavs, one of those two teams will right the ship and look really, really good come April.
I think
because
they-
there's always that team, Kool-Aid, that from late January or February just starts to roll. Starts to roll. And so, I think there's going to be one of those teams in the East. But back to our original
No, I want
question.
to
Go
finish
ahead.
the statement on the Knicks. I do
Yeah.
believe that Cat is a prime candidate to be moved. I do. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but the Knicks are in dysfunction. You were
Yeah.
a team built to win an NBA championship the last 2 years, and now you're in a third year where you're behind teams who you thought you were clearly better than the Pistons, and you thought the East was wide open with Jason Tatum out. And now you're closer to, like you said, the play-in than you are to even the first seed. Those types of things matter. That's where I do think when you're talking about what the Pistons should do at the trade deadline, where sometimes you think, man, but could they bolster something while some of these teams are kind of in disarray?
Yeah.
Because if they don't, then some of these other teams are going to have opportunities to go out there and make those types of moves. And so I do think with the Knicks, from just little things I hear, they are serious about gauging the value and the
market.
assets that they have, especially Cat. And that's why I wanted to talk about that. That noise is not fake noise.
Yeah,
The
I
closest
believe
scouts
it.
I'm to are the Knicks scouts that come to Pistons games. They are scouts that are there every single game for like the last 3 years, and so the noise is real. Not that they're ready to trade Cat, but the noise as it relates to we invested all of this, and the coach we built the team for we've already fired. That was domino one or hint number one that if they don't show that there's something, then something else
Something else
has
has
to be
go.
done. Yep.
I agree.
And Cat is
I
the
think
player
it's
that
real.
they believe they can utilize to restock what they lost in the Mikal Bridges trade. None of those other players are going to bring, except for maybe an OG, are going to bring back a war chest, except for Jalen Brunson and Cat. And they're not
No.
trading Brunson.
And
Now,
speaking
remember-
of trades coming out of New York, I did put a poll in the Woodward Sports chat.
Yeah.
Who do you want the Pistons to trade for? And at 41%, it was Michael Porter Jr. was 41% over Trey Murphy. Any other names that we can think of, or just riding it out. So looks like the people want MPJ.
Yeah. That's what I voted for. I like MPJ because I'm starting to feel like with Trey Murphy, although I like Trey Murphy better as a player pound for pound than MPJ. Yeah. For Michael Porter, it's just he fits so perfectly with the Pistons. The thing with Trey Murphy is that he is a 3/4, but if he's a 4, you're kind of asking him to kind of stretch his limits size-wise. He's not quite like a 4 frame-wise, whereas you got MPJ that could be.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
You guys are looking at the broadcast and showing the C2 Motor City All-Star.
Yeah.
And my kids over there going insane because they're actually on TV right now.
Oh,
And
shout out.
Kool-Aid's on TV. Shout out.
Shout out, guys.
They're on TV right now, man. Shout out to the kids. They were showing because we sat behind the bench, and so they had the shot of Dennis Jenkins and Paul Reed and those guys, and you can see Kid Kool-Aid on FanDuel Sports right now behind the bench.
That's what's
man.
up,
Shout
man.
out.
That's what's up, man. Shout out. Shout out.
They over there going crazy,
Yeah.
dog.
That's sweet, man. But yeah, I would go MPJ. The thing that gets really interesting that we haven't talked about yet is if they are dangling Cat, that is a big that can stretch the floor. Is anybody interested at that price?
Chris, listen,
It would have to take multiple players. It would have
grab
to take
that,
Tobias,
you punt
Ivy,
as far as
and
you
I
can.
think,
I don't
and I
wanna hear the
think
rest
Karis.
of it.
What?
There's no, absolutely not. In absolutely no way would I want Cat anywhere near this team.
Yeah,
I
no,
wouldn't
I
either.
don't
It
want
gets,
no
it,
aspect
first
of
of
that.
all, number
I
one,
wouldn't
it gets,
either.
it gets away from the identity that you've built
Yep.
for
Yeah,
a Pistons franchise. For this Pistons team, you're getting the complete opposite in Cat. You get someone that complains and whines and
Yeah.
Like,
not
bro,
tough
Duncan
and
Robinson is more
flops.
dog, way more
I don't
dog.
wanna-
As a smaller player, he's way more dog than Karl Anthony Towns. And that's the
100%.
thing. Like, you see everybody on this roster, even the guys that they got on two-way contracts and that play with the G League. When Tolu Smith comes here, he grabs rebounds.
Yeah.
It's just like all these guys on this roster have that. They have that that DNA,
Damn, Ron
that
made
identity.
that jump shot. but it
Tolu
was
Smith
too
was
late.
someone
So-
I thought.
What'd you say?
Tolu Smith was someone I thought that the Pistons didn't even need to bring back Paul Reed because Tolu would be entered into that kind of position as that third big.
Now Paul Reed is a
Now, I do
better.
like Paul Reed.
He is a better offensive player.
Yes.
So that's where when you talk about a Paul Reed, there's sometimes where you can just kind of just put him into the game, and it's like, whoa, he just shot 3. But it's
Yeah.
in there. It's like, let's go, Paul.
It's a crazy
Yeah.
offensive game. It's
80
a crazy offensive game.
89-82, 150 left in the third quarter for the Pistons. So they continue to kind of play their lead
Yeah.
between that 5 and that 10-point mark without Cade Cunningham. And you got an upstart Pelicans team who, honestly, they're playing the Pistons tough. They're playing the Pistons tough. All these teams, it looks like they're changing up their defense on the Pistons, and they're playing this tough. Ooh, goodness. I think they called what on the Pistons? What they called on Ron Holland because he hit the shot, but they waved it off. But all these teams are playing this kind of hazy defense where they're playing tough man-to-man, but they're always hazing or hedging a second defender in the direction of the ball player. So it's like when you look at that type of stuff,
Zion won't return. Wow.
he won't.
Yep. Illness. What is going on?
An illness.
There's a lot of players that have been marked illness. I don't know if they're just using that as rest terminology, but
I wonder if it depends on the player. Because with Cade, he lives in Detroit. You know,
But
it's
like,
cold.
Damn it, Chris. The goon.
But
He was gooning too much. Now he's sick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But with him, it's like I think
he is sick.
Yeah, he's drained too many vital
in that.
forces, bro.
Yeah.
It's not enough vitamins in there for all that. Take a supplement, bro.
Yeah, no. And for the record, I'm against the cat trade too.
Drink some Gatorade, Zion.
Just want to bring it up, get a little crazy here on the stream.
You said you're against what?
I'm against the cat trade for the record. I just want to get crazy on the stream. I just want that to be documented on record. I am not a fan of the cat trade idea.
That's funny, dog. You know what? Now I feel obligated to put that on record too. I do not want cat. It's almost like I love my life. I like to live.
It's like, man, it's like the big man he is with the shooting is that part is appealing. But then you look at everything else and you're like, nope, I'm good.
When we saw Isaiah Stewart go in there and strap him up for three of them 4 games last year, it was just like that's all I needed.
If Isaiah Stewart was available for the playoff games, the Pistons would
Cat might have already
won
been
that
traded.
series.
Yeah, Cat might have already been traded. That's
You're already like, bro,
Pistons
what?
would have won
because the Pistons
series.
would have won that series, and now you're talking about New York not having a shot of the finals.
Oh, boy, the Pelicans they're not going away. 89-84, 35 seconds. The Pistons do have the ball. Marcus Sasser dancing at the top of the key.
Oh, how'd that happen? I got ahead of you. I was behind you all straight.
Hey, shout out to the Red Wings. I guess Dylan Larkin scored and they win.
Shout out.
Was that overtime? Yeah.
A
Shout
win
out to the
in
Red Wings for the
overtime.
win.
Shout out to the Red Wings stacking up points.
So I know our Woodward Wings crew that should be going live with their post game soon. Right here at Woodward Sports, we got dual stream. So Spinny and Justin should be getting that going for you guys. Shout out to the Red Wings, man. We got 2 first place teams. LCA should be jumping. This summer should be jumping.
And Kool-Aid.
You got Tigers ball, and you're gonna have.
I gotta go to a
series?
Wings playoff game. I do.
Kool-Aid, but it's not just the two first place Detroit teams. It's the teams that you thought were out of it. You thought they were going to be the last ones to get it right, and now they're both first place. The Pistons are a comfortable first place.
Pistons are a wagon, bro. They're a unit
right now, and the Red Wings just keep adding to their win total and keep increasing that lead that they have in their conference.
I don't know, I don't know what your hockey eras were. Like I know some people they knew the going to work Pistons, but it wasn't theirs. Like man, I knew the championship winning Red Wings. Like those were my teams, bro. And I'm telling you, them playoffs were crazy because my mom worked for one of the sponsors, like Hap or whatever, or the one that had the Snoopy as a logo when we were kids. Yeah. She used to work for them, and they would do a lot of different things. And Darren was one of their spokespeople back then. So them playoff games, bro, she would take me to crazy, absolutely crazy, insane environment at the Joe. And I'm telling you, I was in LCA the other night for this Boston Celtics Pistons game, and I've been every time, especially on the Saturday nights. That arena's packed, dog. I used to go to these games last year. Or 2 years ago, 3 years ago when they were really bad, and I would just be sitting around like, golly, this is terrible. You would be at them games. Yeah. And it would just be the diehards there. Now you're looking at a situation where I remember when the Red Wings were trying to make it, we went in for Darren McCarty and I think this was 2 years ago, and they had a great game, won in overtime. They blew the lid off of that place, bro. Yeah. And I know that when it's playoff time, it's going to be even crazier. Man. You're talking about right off Woodward with all of our teams off the same block. Tigers are going to be going, and you're going to have Red Wings and Pistons going. That whole block, I'm hoping they find a way to shut certain parts of the city down like they did during the NFL draft because I think it's going to be truly an April in a D type of thing.
Man, I'm just thinking about it. I don't know if it'll happen, but if the stars align to where we could see like a Detroit matinee where like the Wings have like a noon or 1 o'clock game and the Pistons have a home game that same evening. You're telling me I can go to LCA at like 11 in the morning, get absolutely hammered. The script
writers gotta know, like,
just take a nap between the games and then be ready and riled up for a Pistons game. Oh, that's Chris Platte's bag. That's Chris Platte's element. That is where Chris Platte will shine.
And you can watch it all on Woodward Sports Network.
Oh yeah,
you already know.
That would be insane. That would honestly be a dream to me to be able to catch 2 playoff games because I already committed that I am going to go to a lot of Piston playoff games. I got to see that first win in Detroit. I got to see it. I've been to the 5 playoff home games in Detroit. I've been to all of them. They haven't won one. Actually, no, I've been to 4 of them. I missed the Tim Hardaway game.
That's the one I was at.
Yeah. So
That one was tough, man.
Yeah,
was
that
tough,
one sucked.
man.
But I am going to see the Detroit Pistons' first home playoff win in Detroit. I'm going to see that. And then I'm going to be going to, depend on how far we go, how many games we're going. But I got to see a Red Wings game too, man. I have to.
And I see Mr. Nuga in the chat. He says, Kool-Aid, say it again. Playoffs in the D? Yes. I'm
Playoffs in the
expecting
D.
it.
April in the D for
The
real.
Red Wings and the Pistons are
It's
going to have
about to be a tie.
LCA lit up, dog. I can't wait, dog. Little Caesars pizza for everybody, right? And buddies. Shout out to our
Man.
sponsor.
Yeah, shout out to our sponsor, man. Dude,
Let's
playoff
go, homie.
basketball, playoff
Pull up
sports
3.
is so fun.
Splash.
I have to go to a Red Wings playoff game too, because that atmosphere, I've been to Red Wings games when it's lit, and it is a time. So you give me that amplified for playoffs, I'm there, dude. I'm so there. God, I'm gonna spend
is
so
this?
much money on tickets
Mets
this year.
acquire all-star pitcher Freddie Peralta from Brewers for top prospects Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat. So more teams making moves.
More
not named the
teams
Tigers.
buying. More teams going all in.
And this is supposed to be the year that we're going all in with Scooble, right? Yeah. Okay.
I was told.
I was
Was I lied to?
Yeah, you
Shout
were
out to
lied to.
You were like,
Nick. Shout out to Nick, man.
hey, look, the
Microwave.
3-point percentage for the, you know what? That's about to go down even more. It was at 16%. They just missed another 3, yo. I don't. This is terrible. Like the Pistons are shooting 41% from behind the arc, 44% from the floor. They have 5 players that have scored at least 10 points tonight. You talking about picking up the slack for Cade Cunningham? It's a team effort, and right now they're doing a good job of turning defense and offense first. It was a Ron Holland 3 this time, a Javonte Green dunk. Puts the Pistons up over the Pelicans a little bit more comfortably here. Now with
Javonte
9:44
Green
left,
steals.
96-85 for the Pistons.
Dude, he always steals the ball and gets a fast break point. Like, always gets a fast break bucket and a steal every game.
I
It's
love
like
this.
clockwork.
The
If you
defense-
could bet on that, I'd bet on that every single game.
It's hard to believe that he was in with the Celtics organization and they let him walk for with what he does. That kind of fits their mold as well.
100%, yeah.
And to like now see him on the Pistons, like it's beautiful. He just
That's
does,
what happens,
He does
though.
literally everything you need.
Very top-heavy paid team.
Defense, effort, and he's proven to be a reliable shooter this year for the Pistons.
He's very it's the Celtics. It's there when you talk about the cap sheet and all that type of stuff and the players that they're paying. That's what winds up happening. And as the Pistons get into that air, it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle the contracts with their homegrown players. But they are a deep squad, man. They're a very deep team. Like I'm surprised at how well they've gotten this thing right. To the point
Yeah.
that you can have a Dennis Jenkins come off your bench who went undrafted, and you identified him and knew that this guy was going to be a guy. You know how I knew that they knew it? Because I interviewed them. I was talking to Jamel McMillan and these guys. They said, oh, no, we got high hopes for him. They told me Bobby Clinton is somebody that we believe is going to take a little bit of time, but he is a baller. He's a hooper in every sense of the effing word. That is a quote from Jamel McMillan. He is the Crew's head coach and still an assistant coach for the Pistons, so they train together and such. When these players come up, you like how good Dennis is doing. Who do you think's been his coach? We give a lot of credit to JB Bickerstaff, but it's been Jamel McMillan and that Crew's organization really getting these guys right, man.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
Kool-Aid, they got my Sparty dog over there.
Yeah. Oh, I saw.
Come on now.
I've been going over there looking at him live. Actually, I've been snuck to a
on
couple games. I told him like, I'm just gonna start covering the Crew's games again.
Yeah.
So Jaden Akins is somebody who I think he deserves some point a shot. Now I get it. The size is something that people look at. He's just a hooper.
Yeah.
I'll
He's
tell you
a
what,
hooper,
Flat
dog.
out.
he's bigger than Marcus Sasser.
I don't even want to be giving him all these props, but like
I mean,
Jaden Akins
he's not the
was balling,
smallest.
dog.
He's not the smallest person in the world.
Yeah, but hey, look, man, dog. I'm looking at Cade now talking about finishing first in the player vote in the East, which was awesome. We didn't talk about that tonight, man. Shout out to Cade Cunningham. With the All-Star selection, it's his second one in a row, second one of his career. First time voted in as a starter. It'll be interesting to see how the format goes for them this year with the new kind of World versus USA format. Last year,
Kool-Aid.
yeah, it left a lot to be desired. I just want to see a return to, if it's not going to be East versus West, just return to basketball. Give me full quarters. Give me timed quarters. Give me 4 quarters. That is all that I want. Even Cade Cunningham after the game was like, yeah, I'm so grateful I got this experience, but I wish we just played basketball.
They
like
did
it
him
was East
wrong
versus
in
West.
his first game. But you know what? Now he's going to have a teammate there, and his teammate's shining tonight.
We're going to call it. Jalen Duren is going to be an
16
all-star. And if he
16
doesn't,
points,
we will delete this
We
clip
riot.
from the internet.
No, we riot.
No.
We riot.
Hey, listen, 96-85 for the Pistons, 9:26 left in the fourth quarter. And their defense is what's honestly their defense and the ability to have so many people, honestly, showing their depth offensively, just having it going. Jalen Duren, 13 rebounds on the night and 16 points. So
Yeah.
he has taken over the scoring lead. We talked about
Is
who
it
we
possible?
need to see
is
be
it
the
possible,
all-star.
Kool-Aid?
It's him. He's a player of the game already. As this thing is going.
Is 2020 possible though? I'm just asking.
7 more rebounds in 9 minutes will be tough. But he's definitely should be able to get to that 20-point scoring. He's not even in the game right now, so it'll be interesting to see, though. Because you get a couple taps. If he get them Drummond rebounds, he'll get his 2020. I knew you looked like that.
Oh man.
I did that for
Yeah.
Platty. Sheesh, man. How you feeling, Platty? 96-85
I'm
for
feeling
the
good that I
Pistons.
got Duren and not Drummond. I'll tell you that.
Listen, we agree with that.
Yeah. I think this team, man, look.
Oh. Did they just tap it in for the Pelicans?
Yeah,
This
they
is
did.
so
They
fun,
did.
man.
They did.
This
They
is
indeed
so
did
fun.
that.
Shout out to you guys
That
in
was
the
a little
chat for
goofy.
making this
That was a little
possible.
goofy.
You guys showing us that when we do these streams, that when we talk into these microphones, that you guys give us your time. We
Let's go,
greatly
Ron.
appreciate it, man. I'm getting to cover the team that I love more than
go,
anything
Ron.
in
I
life.
just love Ron Howard.
Yeah, let's go. I'm
I
sorry,
just
bro.
love
Ron
I'm
Howard.
hustling.
Man, he's just a baller, man.
Ron is like our chat family, bro.
Kid just hoops, man.
I was stuttering there, but Ron Howard report card grade for him this season.
I'm giving him.
Jeff, all right, Jeff,
Let me
go
think
ahead.
here. I'm
A
gonna give, you know what? I'm
All
gonna
right.
give him a solid B.
That's
Because
the right answer.
I can see more from him shooting wise. I still think that there's untapped potential there, and I feel like he could get better at that as this season goes along, especially in the second half. But when you talk about someone that gives you energy, someone that gives you effort, and not only is it just energy and effort, but a lot of the times, especially defensively, he's there. He's
Yes.
staying in front of these guys that are, harder to cover in the NBA. We've seen him had a couple good, takes at Jaylen Brown, and I know Jaylen Brown, that's a difficult cover in the NBA. That's someone he's physical, he's strong, he's big. And Ron, he holds his own, and he makes, we talk about stocks, he gets a lot of steals, he gets a lot of just effort plays like diving on the ground and diving for loose balls, or just in that case right there where he's going after the rebound when no one else was, and he secures an extra possession for the Pistons. That is so important for this Pistons team, and it can't be overlooked because we talk about the aggressiveness that we want to see from Asar Thompson. That's what Ron Holland gives you. He gives you that aggressiveness every single time he steps foot on the court. So I give him a solid B.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer for me. I think B is fair because you have seen progression. I think he's seeing the game better. I think he's got a better feel for the game. His confidence has always been there, but I am noticing improved confidence and trust within himself. I like the ability, I go to that Memphis game, right, when there were some players missing early in the season. You're like, you know what? Ron Howland, this is a game we'd love to see Ron Howland just go out and go for 20 and, be that guy, be a top 5 pick statistically. And instead what he did is he only attempted like one shot that entire game, and he was just playing great team ball. So I love the fact that Ron Howland is
doesn't
bought
force
into
anything.
whatever role. It's a lot like Isaiah Stewart. He's just doing what needs to be done every night. And so I think that Ron Howland is absolutely giving you a great season. I'd say it'd be the only thing that keeps it from an A is if you saw significant strides shooting wise, which again we haven't gotten yet. But man, dude, if he puts that shot together, I mean, you are talking about a very, very good player, like a That is a guy that can flirt with all-star. If Ron Holland puts together a jump shot compared to everything else and still continues to grow in those other areas as well, that is an NBA all-star. And that is, dare I say, even the Robin on this team.
We look at it and we go, we're gonna say a lot of things, but you got to remember he was a top 5 pick. Not only was he just a top 5 pick, but he was if I'm not mistaken, he was the number 1 player in his high school prospect rankings.
Yes.
So the potential, other organizations and other places have always seen the potential for Ron Holland because he was always highly touted as a recruit, going out of high school, joined the G League, then obviously turned into a top 5 pick. So the potential is always going to be there for Ron Holland. It's just whether or not he can maximize his potential. And him playing alongside Cade gives him the best ability to maximize on that potential that we want to see from him.
Yeah.
I don't even want to rain on pray, but I got to bring the grade down just a little bit for Ron Holland.
Come on.
I have to, man. It for me, I was going back and forth between a C+ and a B-, and it's because we got to be real about some things. The energy and the hustle he does bring, but his field goal percentage, before we can even be talk about can he be a 3-point shooter, his field goal percentage is down almost 7%. Oh. That's huge. He's down to 41% shooting this year. And that is, the aggressiveness is there, but there's a lot of times when that aggressive ends in missed shots. There's times where it's the shooting from the mid-range as well. And so I do want to see him get a little bit more improved in that regard, or I would honestly have him at an A. I believe that his defense has been amazing this year. I believe that his hustle hasn't taken any steps back, and it's actually influenced in this team to effectively play that much better. But I do want to see him be able to get more efficient like he was in the G League and like he was, before. And I get his high school competition, but in the G League, you're playing against NBA-level competition. He was one of your better finishers in the paint, one of your better finishers going to the rim. And so I want to be able to see him channel that energy the same way we would say about Ivy for years. Hey, we want to see you finish better. Hey, we want to see you be able to better channel your speed. So I know that we all love the motor of Ron Holland and the energy that he brings and how he never stops. But I do, from a skill standpoint, want to see him be able to improve, especially efficiently. Because, the scoring coming down just a little bit and that shooting percentage being at 41, you don't want to see Ron Holland be a guy that gets below that. I don't ever want to see him below 45% shooting with the type of player he is. So it's going to be interesting to see. What up, though, brother?
You'll see it in a minute. I think I'm a little bit ahead of you guys over here.
Let's rock. Pistons up 101-96. 5:13 left in the game, so they're almost at clutch time. And Isaiah Stewart, dog. Big dog, man.
That report card.
He has an A.
That A+.
But
Isaiah
Holland,
Stewart's definitely
it's a B- for me. I give him a B-.
Yeah.
It would be an A if his shooting percentage was a little better.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I mean, I held Asar to that standard. I just felt like I just like a lot of the things that give me a B grade for Ron Holland are eye test stuff, not numbers. Whereas Asar, there's a little bit for me. I haven't gotten either from Asar. So
I got the numbers from Asar and the eye test. That's the thing for me. Field goal percentage isn't a number. That's a reality of how you're shooting.
Right.
The stats could be like in terms of your averages, that could be reticent on how much time you're getting. But what you're shooting is what you're shooting, and that's why I say with Ron, I got to hold him a little bit more to that. Because with Asar Thompson, even if we believe like we want more out of Asar Thompson, he's still averaging like career highs in points. He's still averaging more points than a Ron Holland. He's still shooting a little bit better than a Ron Holland as well. And so those are the components where I'm like, if I'm going to judge this player, Ron Holland, effectively, I want to make sure I'm doing it as fairly as I possibly can across the board with these players. When you look at Asar Thompson on the year, Asar Thompson's shooting 50% from the floor, and he's still shooting like 3 to 4% better from behind the arc than Ron Holland. And he's averaging more. And so that's why I want to be able to be fair to that. He's putting up the almost 11 points, 6 rebounds, nearly 3 assists, and he's 34th in the league in field goal percentage. That's Asar Thompson. He has the 34th best field goal percentage in the league. And so I do believe he maybe even my grade against him might have been too low, but it's because of the expectation that we have from scoring, and we can see a little lack of that motor or that confidence. His motor is always there, but there's something about that aggressiveness that seems to just kind of come and go with Ausar that I believe will unlock his ability. But when you look across the bowl at Ron, I like everything that he brings to the table. So sometimes I hate even giving these grades, but just trying to be as honest as possible. His field goal percentage, they don't even have it ranked. At the 41%, they don't put it on there. And even the points, the rebounds, the assists are all just a little lower than what Ausar is bringing to the table. So I still have him with the higher grade on the season of Ausar because I believe you expect a little bit more out of Ausar as the older, been in the league longer, a little bit bigger player. And the expectation was put on him early. When Ron came in, they said, we're going to bring him along a little bit slower. We're going to bring him off the bench. They didn't throw the usage at him that they did and the responsibility that they did with Ausar Thompson. So those things are a little bit different there. So I wanted to be a little fair to it, but that's why I said I don't want to rain on the parade, but I do bring Ron Holland from the B that you guys give him down to just the B-. I think everything else is there for him, and as he rights the ship from a shooting standpoint, I think that you'll see Ron Holland be obviously he's going to be that much more effective. If he can get that mug up to just even, like I said, 45% plus, you're going to see Ron Holland get that scoring average up to over 10 points again.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair, man. I think that's fair. I love that there's just so much young potential on this team, man. There really is. And that's why I really I want to see, I don't care whether it's Ausar, whether it's Ron, they've all proven to be worthy of being a significant long-term piece, but I want to see one of them become that borderline all-star, man. Like that just, you give Cade that, along with what he's already working with, like, man, you are talking about you're talking about a team that's not just number one in the East, but number one in the league. I can't wait to see what OKC.
Duncan Robinson with the lob up to Ausar Thompson on a break. 4:30 left in the fourth quarter. 103-96 left in the fourth.
Transition.
What'd you say, brother?
It was a great block by Jalen Duren, and then they got into transition.
Them stocks, man, they're so vital because this team is so athletic and fast. Like that's why stocks are so important to this team, is because when you do block or steal, who's beating this team on a break? Like, what's a transition defense that's getting back in time?
I think they've been the best best defense to offense team over the last 2 years. Yeah. Last year they were. Makes this sense. Year they are still one of those teams that's just getting out and doing it. And we look at every game when we look at the box score. They are one of those teams that are really good at second chance points, and we already said it, those transition points as well. So yeah, it's part of their identity. I'm glad that they focus on that. I think that every way that you could potentially score should be valued, and that's what JB Bickerstaff has brought to the table. So even though there's still some stuff to be desired with this team's half-court offense, especially when K is not in the game, you can see, though, they still value each and every possession, and they recognize, bro, get out in the transition and go, and you got a chance to get out there and get you a free, easy bucket, man. So let me see here.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at this Piston team, man. It's going to be interesting to see how they close down the stretch. What do you revisiting the conversation? Who are you looking at now that we've had 40-plus minutes of gameplay here?
I think this is the time where you maybe run a couple back to the baskets for Uncle Tobias. I think this time that you look at him to be able to kind of be a stabilizing force. And some pin downs for the guy who got the ball now, Duncan Robinson.
Yep.
But you don't forget Jalen Duren. Like, I don't know, like, when you look at the lineup they have right now, I'm comfortable with it. We've seen even Dennis Jenkins play some big minutes for this team.
Yep. Hit big shots.
I'm talking about it. And then he goes in and gets the and one. That's what I mean. Like everybody out there on the court, I'm actually comfortable with. It's just going to sound bad, but Asar's probably the one I'm the least comfortable with, just because free throws matter right now. Free throws matter.
Fair.
Defensively, the Pelicans are shooting 41% from the floor and 18% from three. So I'm not too worried about if they have to make some type of change. But if we got good Ausar tonight in terms of free throws, then I like the lineup that they have. I think this is your closing lineup. You have your three-point shooter. Danis has proven he can play at the end of games. Tobias is a steadying force. Jalen Duren, if Ausar would have missed that, he would have had that. That's who he is. So I'm like, this is a good lineup for this Pistons team right now. 3:30 left, 106-96. What up,
Tobias has been struggling tonight as far as efficiency.
Yeah.
I know even though we want to kind of, gravitate to him, having the ball in his hands, especially down the stretch here, but we got to give it to
Good defense.
Dennis, who had a really good second half so far. Jalen Duren, other players that feel like they have it a little bit more going. They have the momentum of the game going for them.
Shout out to Tobias Harris. He went down and got the ball because the Pelicans are pressing up. And instead of just kind of running the play, he told the whole offense, get down the court, I got this. Yeah. Sometimes I think that's what you have to do as a vet, because this team will get themselves into trouble down the stretch trying to push and make the play that's designed rather than understanding the savviness like a Tobias.
Just
saw him
seeing
get the ball and
what's there.
said, y'all get down.
Yes.
And then we'll set the play. And I think sometimes that matters.
Sometimes you take what they give.
But sometimes the young players,
Yeah,
they don't know that.
do
They'll
that.
be like,
Yeah.
but the play is this. I remember K was literally, you could hear him yelling like, man, F it, dog. Get out the way. And it was we were in media just cracking up, dog. Sometimes I think that's what happens with the young players, because you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be.
Yep.
And sometimes when you're not, you'll see someone throw the ball and it's like nobody there, and then you'll be like, oh.
And to be fair,
shoot, I was supposed to be there.
To be fair to the young guys, coach is going to be very pissed if it doesn't work.
Yes.
If you don't go, if you don't run the play, if you don't execute the play, and it didn't work.
Dang, that's what I missed.
As a young guy, those vets get leeway. Young guys, not so much. But no, I'm okay with the Sarr, going back to your point about being in, because to me, this is, again, this game and last game, he has been really good to me, in my opinion. So I think a lot of it with him is mental, is him just like you said with Jalen Duren. Not to insult him by any means, but I think it just took Jalen Duren like a couple of seasons to realize I'm bigger, stronger, faster than everybody. I'm just going to throw down.
Yeah.
And I think Sarr kind of needs those bits of confidence. So I like JB actually giving him out, because you're right. This Pelicans team offensively, with this time left, the game's not over by any means. I'm not saying that. And knowing the Pistons, they might find a way to make it close. But you're not scared of this Pelicans team to where you need a Sarr in for preventative defense. Yep. You don't necessarily need it, but I'm glad that they're giving it to him to hopefully instill confidence and opportunity in him.
Yep, and 107-98 for the Pistons. So far, it's been the Dennis Jenkins show to close this game out. And that's why it's like, I like this entire lineup. Duren has the ball. Ooh! All right,
Great
no
move.
foul for him, but that's okay. You get the
That's
rebound
right.
back. Come on, that's what I
There
like
we
to
go.
see. The second chance opportunity for the big fella, man. Let's go, Jalen Duren. And I love when he's just laughing down the court
Yeah.
after he knows he got fouled. Because it's like, y'all can't do nothing with Black Thor.
Yeah.
I didn't even pull the hammer out on y'all yet. Shout out to Jalen Duren.
Shout out.
Sadiq Bey, man.
Sadiq Bey,
Ooh.
you know he's going to be the one to try to get this
he's
team
trying.
back. Yeah.
You saw him. He was at the free throw line to play before that for them. 109, 101. Him and Jalen Duren look
Hey,
like
man,
they might have
he's
been a little
looking
something.
older, man. He grew up.
Well, remember, he was already old with the Pistons.
Yeah.
It was already like the old head when he was drafted.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Good lob. Back to.
You saw how quickly they double
Yeah.
teamed Tobias? They were like, nope.
He's had a good
And
trial
how-
game for you.
And
for
how
you, Kool-Aid.
Tobias.
He's been good. So the lack of efficiency, he's come into this, and he's been this is a settling force. Dennis Jenkins, though, man. He
talking-
got things started.
Sadiq Bey's having a good trial game for you.
Listen, bro. You already know, man.
Yeah.
I made a
I
song
know
called
you.
Hey Bay Bay back in the
Yeah.
day here at Woodward Sports. Bring me back my bay, man.
But I do want to highlight, again, that's veteran stuff from Tobias. Tobias caught that ball from Duren, and he didn't bring it down for a dribble. He
You
kept
saw
it up.
just right
he
here.
kept
Yep.
it up. He kept it up, and that's what made him able to get that quick pass right back to Duren, which led to the foul.
But
So,
what used to get Duren in trouble, he would get the
Yep.
ball and then do this.
Bring it down.
It's
Yep.
just like, that's what I mean. Sometimes at the end of games, and shout out to whoever just had on the back-to-back 89-90 cap, dog.
Yeah, that
My
was a
grandma
fire
bought me
cap,
that.
yeah.
I still got it. It's messed up today, but I still got it. Like, it's shout out to that guy.
I have like the tape. My parents bought like
Get
the
around,
tape
get around,
of.
get around.
You know how like every year the championship team they do that little like documentary on it.
So you got the
I have the
VHS.
VHS
Yep.
tape of the.
Come on,
yeah.
my grandparents
Yeah,
got
dude.
me one. Let's go. I've liked the way the Pistons have looked down the stretch. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be through with you. They've looked like a better team
Yep.
down the stretch than they've looked during certain parts of this game since the second
Yes.
quarter.
This isn't like I joked about it maybe a minute, 2 minutes ago in real time when I said, hey, this Piston team might find a way to make it close, but they are doing a good job of not doing that like they have previously.
Good defense,
Trey Murphy
good rebounds.
off
They're-
again per the
Yep.
script. We already know the deal.
And they're limiting them to one shot attempt. Tobias Harris is the one
Trey
bringing
Murphy
the ball
come to
down the
death
court.
row.
Again. So you realize they got Tobias handling the pressure with the ball up the court. Give
Mm-hmm.
it to Dennis to do his thing in the half court. They're running the pick and roll with Tobias and Dennis. So that means a Dennis shot attempt.
And then lob that thing up for Duran. Let's go, Duran.
Oh, Dennis got the free throws in, huh?
I don't know.
That was a late call.
Yeah. That's why I thought.
Why did
That's
they
why I
wait that
thought they
long?
called it on Duran. To be honest, or not on Duran, but
Jordan Poole actually
yeah.
fouled Dennis, and they didn't. I think they might have called it on Derek Queen though. How'd they miss the one on Jordan Poole? That was sneaky. Oh, they gave it to who? They got the line? Is it okay? It is Dennis. Yeah.
He missed. No.
Jalen Duran with his 20 points and 15 rebounds in the game.
all-star numbers.
Right.
Or as we call those numbers, Andre Drummond 2020.
Shit. No, we don't call those on Chicago.
Well, if it was Andre Drummond, it would have been a couple extra taps. Jalen Duran just
To
takes care
himself.
of
To
business.
himself, of course.
But would
One
it-
rebound, one dunk.
Would it have
That's how it
had?
goes.
Would it have came with a win? Sometimes
Sometimes. I can't hate on an All-NBA and All-Star player.
I can.
Ooh, a deep three. No go. Dennis Jenkins with another rebound here, man. And I think for the box score, we're going to talk about the players of the game, man.
Hey.
We're going to talk Dennis. We're going to talk Jalen Duran. For sure.
Yeah.
This is dope, man, to see the Pistons dribbling the ball out with Dennis Jenkins, like with the ball in his hands, and Cade Cunningham sitting in street clothes, being able to get a rest. Like the note that the Pistons, I think I think they might have lost one game all season without Cade Cunningham. I think they might be 5-1. I have to double check those numbers, but they might be 5-1 without Cade this year. Sheesh, man, this team is really showing some type of pedigree and that the identity is something that's bought in throughout. And not just that, when we talk about the Tigers and who they were in the first half, if the Tigers are missing major games, or a certain amount of games from people like, their stars, they're not going to have the first half that the Pistons are. But the Pistons are able to rest Cade, Duran, sometimes Cade and Duran, and they're still the best team in the East. They're still one of the best teams in all of the NBA. And now the win is officially official. Your Detroit Pistons, they defeat the New Orleans Pelicans 112-104. And this one was just a feel-good one. I don't have much bad to say. There's nothing bad to say about this game at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I know we're going to look at the box score. They got to be less sloppy. I think if there's one thing we want to talk about, they got to be more disciplined, a little less sloppy, especially against these teams that most people believe that you're supposed to go out there and bludgeon against the 10 and now 36 New Orleans Hornets. Just tighten up a little bit, but I understand it. And okay, I get it a little bit, man.
Offensive rebounds. That's now 2 games.
That too.
That's 2
Offensive
games
rebounds.
in a row.
Team
That'd be
stats
the-
will always tell the story.
That'd be the one thing.
Real quick before we get into the box scores and get
Yeah.
into the nitty gritty of the game, NBA TV just kind of
I'm open.
cut
I'm
to
always
a
open.
little. They cut to a little camera action of Cade Cunningham and his future teammate Trey Murphy III having a little conversation over there. Just saying. I'm just.
I
putting it out there. That's
love
all
that.
I'm just saying they were talking to each other. They're having a little chat.
We
Cade
got
might be telling
Brendan
me-
Boyd.
Cade might be telling him, there's a place, not too far away from me. I seen there for a for sale, for rent sign in the front yard. Don't worry.
And I see you were about to read off
Sorry,
that
yeah,
comment.
I was just replying to Jane Doe. That's well said. Pistons never trailed in this game. I would say that's handling business. Great call.
It is handling
Brendan
Yeah, it's handling
Brendan
your
said
business,
Trey
man.
Murphy is trash. Yes, he is. That's why you should trade him.
Well,
New Orleans, you don't want him. He's trash. You don't want him. He's no good for you.
Do you really want a guy that was 1 for 7 last I checked? And I don't know let's see what he finished with.
Yeah. New Orleans, you don't want him.
Let's see what he
That's
finished with.
right.
6 for 19. You want that
Yeah, you
shot
don't
chucking
want that.
cancer on your team? I guess we'll take him.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll do you a favor. We'll
Yeah.
do you a favor. We'll take him off your hands.
No, we'll
Don't
give you a
worry.
pick. We'll give you a protected first for sure.
Trey Murphy with Cade
Top
Cunningham.
25 protected.
Because that's the thing. Trey Murphy is the type of player that thrives when the usage can be lower.
Yeah.
MPJ right now is thriving in a
5 turnovers,
situation
too?
where the usage is very. That's what I'm saying. The usage was turned up for him tonight. Zion Williamson goes out. Zion Williams is really not doing nothing. Derek Queen didn't really do anything. We hear about him a lot. He had he got 8 assists tonight with Derek Queen.
He's a good prospect still. He's still
Not
in
the
that
guy
process.
who's going out there and driving the
Exactly.
show, man.
Right.
And that's where it's just like, man, I get it.
And you know what? Trey Murphy is not. He's not your Batman. He's not your Superman.
Well, and
He
that's
is
what I like
he is
about
your
him.
Robin.
Like the difference in usage between the two, it was crazy when I looked up. Most people would think maybe MPJ has been the one averaging the most points per game over the last 2 years, but it's not.
Yeah.
This year he's jumped up there,
Because
but this
of
is
the
his
fact
first
that
year
he's only
legitimately over 20 points per game, and he had to get 32% usage to do it. Can he still be that player here? Whereas Trey Murphy, he gets into trouble when he's asked to do too much usage. When he's sitting at like 19, 20% usage, Trey Murphy's still a 20-point per game scorer, and he could play off of. When you talk about a player that can play off of Cade Cunningham effectively, I think Trey Murphy is actually that guy. Now, with MPJ, if he's one of those knockdown, just I shoot the cover off the ball, and now everyone who plays with Cade Cunningham goes to the next level, this is where I've been thinking differently. Like, what can he unlock from MPJ? Now, I don't know, because MPJ's played with the likes of Jokic. Similar type of effect or impact on the game. Every time they say Cade's stats, it's always just him and Joker who average these same type of stats and have a similar profile as it relates to their overall effect on the game. So, that's what I look at. Who was he next to Joker? And you see that he's gotten a little bit better offensively from the ISO standpoint. But 32% to have an effect on the game that he does, I just hope he can still be that type of shooter here with Cade. And I do believe with the shot he has, that guy could actually be one of those. If Beasley was here doing this, what could MPJ be? If Duncan Robinson is doing this, what could MPJ be?
What MPJ
that's
could
where
be.
that's where my head goes. Whoa,
With Cade Cunningham?
slow down a little bit. MPJ might be that guy.
And I feel like it's. I
He's
feel like
already
it's
shooting
different.
fucking 40%.
But imagine. But think about it. People are triple teaming Cade. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna not double Cade because MPJ would dot your eye or Duncan. That's what I'm saying. Like when I think about it from that standpoint, I'm like, who? But Trey Murphy has made the 8th most amount of threes in the NBA. So I'm just like, I don't know what to do here.
Because you can look at it.
You can't get both.
You can look at it.
It would take a lot, but you can get both.
Listen, you can look at it 2 ways, okay?
That's funny.
For me,
Factually.
when I see Trey Murphy, I see someone that would bring a little bit more athleticism. I would see someone that can, at times, create their own shot to a better percentage, to a better clip. When you look at MPJ, I think MPJ, you're bringing in someone that not only has championship experience, but you're also bringing in someone that has already been, that secondary or third player that he's kind of used to that role, and he did it at a pretty
Maybe
high.
third. I just don't know.
Third,
If you're
fourth,
looking
it
for a
doesn't
second
matter.
player, is he going to be able to be that second player here?
And that's where you kind of see where if he doesn't need to be that second player because you do have Jalen Duren taking these next step, that MPJ would be a great third option on this team because of the fact that he does shoot the ball so well, especially playing alongside Cade Cunningham when he's already played, like you said, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it could be in fuego, man.
Cade and Joker, they have very similar play style in getting others involved. So he's already used to, kind of playing into a system like that. So it'd kind of be, I feel like a seamless transition for
It's just
MPJ.
understand, when he did play in that system, he was averaging between the likes of about 14 to 17 a game. Now that he's out of that system and his usage goes from like 20 to 32, we see him hitting 25 points per game. And so you got to understand, when you take that ball out, when you understand what usage and how it affects a player, that's where I'm hoping he can still be as effective with the ball out of his hands. Because in the past, he's shown to be at best a third best player at his peak. He's never shown second best player to me in any time. I thought he's shown that he has the potential to be, but he hasn't shown that he's a second player. That was always Jamal Murray out there with Joker. And with MPJ, it was always hot or cold. Like the Denver Nuggets fans would tell you, they thought that in the playoffs, he was somebody that went missing sometimes because he felt like he wasn't getting the ball. And that's the thing, because that's that usage thing.
Yep.
Trey Murphy's a guy who he gets his 20 points whether he's getting 30 usage or not. And that's where I realized he's designed, all his game is actually designed to play off of other players. It's just now Trey Murphy's having to increase his usage and is getting him into a little trouble as of late.
Well said, too, and you compare that directly with his quote, right? Like, that's a quote from a guy that just – like, you think he comes to the number 1 seeded Pistons and has a real shot at making the NBA Finals off of the New Orleans Pelicans, and you don't think you're going to get his best performance? You think that guy's going to go missing? No, he
doesn't need a lot to perform.
Yes, and he's a guy, too, that when you – again, this is what he's saying. We don't know him firsthand, but – this is a guy that's projecting, man, I just want to be a part of something special. I just want to be a part of something special, man. And that's what I think this Piston team can offer him. And so I have less questions about him than MPJ, but I still roll the dice with MPJ because MPJ has been through multiple deep playoff runs. Will he have a bad game? Sure, everybody does. But this guy has been in situations far bigger than the Pistons could ever hope to imagine this season. So I think that MPJ would be a great addition. I think Trey Murphy would be a great addition. The only thing that makes me lean MPJ is just because of the frame, and that being such a high priority is having a bigger stretch. And he also rebounds very well too. He rebounds very well too, which fits in with the team.
Man. And on his health. Those are two things for me that are probably the most alarming. Is beyond just the usage, is the defense and health. But overall, man, it's tough, man. Because even for the career playoff wise, he's averaging 13 for his career, and that's where I'm like, okay. Even though he has this experience, Tim Hardaway Jr. had that experience in the finals. There's other players, and that's where I'm like, I want to make sure if they pull a trigger like this, if they make a swing like this, for a player who they believe has second potential, number 2 overall potential, but then he comes here and he's not having a bigger effect or impact on the game than Jalen Duren or what Tobias Harris has for this team now, that's going to be detrimental because you're not just adding them into this team. You're telling other people who are contributing right now to go away too. And I see some people in the chat as we turn our attention towards the Pistons who again, just to recap, they won 112-104 over the Pelicans tonight. You know, there's some people in the chat who are saying, you know what, Tobias Harris is better than Trey Murphy, and he showed that tonight. And so that's where when you talk about Trajan Langdon, he's going to have a time on his hands between now and the trade deadline because this team has shown that they are really good, but this team has also shown that if you make a couple tweaks here and there, you might have a team that can actually go into the finals and compete for it this year. So
smash the like button, chat, for a Pistons win. Come on, what are we doing here? These are rookie numbers. Let's get these likes up. Jeff, we could get a like pull on the stream. Let's get that going.
Just to piggyback off of what you were saying, Kool-Aid and Chris, in terms of, Trey Murphy, I feel like Trey Murphy is one of those players that he would fit so well on a team that has true championship desires, true, playoff contention, someone that's actually, being a threat to win a championship because that's what his play style fits best at.
Right.
And we've seen MPJ, he's gone through those because he was lucky enough to be playing alongside Joker, and they were able to get to those levels of getting to the finals and winning a championship. I feel like Trey Murphy is not only someone that could probably do that a little bit better than MPJ if he was given the same circumstance, if he was given the same environment that MPJ was given instead of being drafted to the Pelicans where it was kind of, they don't really, they had their shot at the playoffs, but everybody knew that was a fluke. Everybody knew that wasn't real. We knew the Pelicans weren't going to last long term.
Yeah.
But you knew that the Nuggets were going to be there year in, year out. They were going to be in the championship level talk all year long. And that's where we kind of miss with Trey Murphy, but that's exactly what his play style fits.
Yeah. Before we get to box score stuff, Aaron, what was your biggest takeaways, man? What do you feel like about the Pistons trade market?
Oh, here we go. I think I'm on now.
Yep, you're good.
So, I really just I just wanted to step in and say that I think the Pistons are in like a a unique position as far as you see the way JB Bickerstaff handles his players on the team. Mm-hmm. They all seem to progress in a real good way. I like how they use like the belt, and you see as the season goes on, each night there's like a different player who really stepped up in like a different unique type of way. So that being said, I think they're in a great position to add another player who could have an effect on this team, in the sense of like players are gonna want to play here for one, and I think you often see Cade kind of like how he did tonight, like whispering to those players at the end of the game, and I think we're in a position to where if we did bring somebody over, as in Michael Porter or there was a couple other guys who were mentioned, but if Trey Murphy or Jaren Jackson Jr., if we bring one of these guys in, I think we're in a position to where we could help them with their maturation and help them come into this team and actually have a dramatic effect on the team. Yeah. Just because of where we are as a team, we're like primed and prepped to have someone come in and actually have, a good effect with this team. So I think bringing somebody in, of all times, right now it would be a good time. Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm with that. I'm with that.
And I see Mr. Nuga in the chat. Good
comment. Shout out.
199 Super Chat says, bless you boys from the fans out of market. Hey, definitely, man. This is what Woodward Sports is all about. No matter the season, no matter the team, we're going to try and be here for you guys, man. This has been one of the coolest things, honestly, over the last 5 years is covering this, seeing the restore start, seeing it not go necessarily the way we wanted to after a few years, but still seeing that there was a post. And now to see that these guys have hit the ground running, made the playoffs last year, had a historic jump from 14 to 44 wins, and now they're on pace for 60 wins this season. They're winning with Cade. They're winning without Cade. They're winning when Duran's They're winning when Duran's there. And you're getting just a bevy of just honestly promise from across your entire roster. Like, that's why I'm glad that they actually did go out there and they went in the offseason of pivot where they had an offseason plan lined up, but then it all fell apart. Dennis Schroeder got offered starter money. We understand what happened with Malik Beasley. They had to go out there and find some people on the fly. And I thought Trajan Langdon and Cole did a really good job at getting some NBA-level talent in here. I know not everybody's the happiest with Karis LeVert, but I can tell you when you see this team around him, you understand what J.B. Bickerstaff probably saw in him as a team glue guy. And last year they lost some of that character. So I do believe Karis does matter to the core of what this team is. That doesn't mean to say that if something happens as it relates to a trade or something that they will be losing, but he's not taking away from the locker room by being in there right now. I think he's actually bringing something to that team. And so when you look at that, you look at Duncan Robinson, the type of shooter he's become, especially over the last 10, 15 days, he's been absolutely red hot. I trust in what this team and what this organization can be and what they're seeing in front of them. And that's where I'm hoping from a standpoint of whatever they're doing to address what this team can do this year, I'm hoping that they stay themselves, that they don't act out of character. Even if I want them to go out there and there's this deal that just is slapping me in the face, it's like, you got to get this star. If they don't feel comfortable with it, I actually trust where they're at as an organization, despite the fact that it would be nice to see them go out there and try and bolster something. But it's just a notion of you see this team being able to win the same ways no matter what. That's a sign of a really, really, really good team. And so thank you guys again for being here. I see a few more people got in here after the win. We'll talk about this box score for a little bit. Don't want to hold people too long. But if you haven't got an opportunity to, go on ahead and smash that like button. And we're going to get into this box score for the Detroit Pistons. We'll start with the team stats. 112-104 win for the Pistons, who moved to 32-10 on the year. So the first game after the halfway point, the Pistons come out with a dub. Goodness gracious, this team is really going to win 60 games this year, Platte. But the Pistons, they shoot 44% from the floor. This was interesting. They both took about the same amount of shots, but three-point percentage-wise, the Pistons, they won that one handily. 38% from beyond the arc for the Pistons, 22% for the New Orleans Pelicans. The offensive rebounding, the Pistons actually did their share of offensive rebounding tonight as it relates to 13. But they gave up 14 to the Pelicans, which allowed them to stay in the game a little bit. Not just that. This was the other component, the offensive rebounding and the turnovers. They allowed the Pelicans 13 steals and the Pistons at 20 turnovers. Do you know how many points they conceded off their turnovers? 26 points. So they gave the Pelicans not only 14 second chance opportunities off offensive rebounds, but they also gave up 26 points off their own 20 turnovers. Now, they were able to get back 32 of those points off of their own 19 turnovers that they forced to the Pelicans. But this is the way. When you talk about how do you let a bad team stick around, it's in those types of hustle stats. The offensive rebounding, it suffered tonight. For the Pistons will be their defensive rebounding. And the turnovers were just awful. There were too many stretches in the game where they were playing sloppy basketball. Your primary ball handlers on nights like tonight are going to be Dennis Jenkins and Asar Thompson, and they're going to have to prove that they can handle that type of pressure, because what do you believe the playoffs are going to be about? Exactly. Got to think about that. So that pressure is going to get even stronger in the playoffs. But as we go through this, we talked about earlier, the two things we could be mad at, it's those offensive rebounds and those turnovers. Other than that, I thought everybody handled themselves effectively, except for this one stat. The Pistons usually dominate points in the paint.
That's what I was getting to.
And that one, this looks weird. Yeah. They lost that 48-54.
And again, I said this Pelicans before, but as the game started, or early in the game maybe, that the Pelicans are second in the NBA in points in the paint. So this is 1 and 2 points facing off. Second chance points.
Yeah, points off turnovers. Yeah,
and also just kind of, just also, again, interior wise, I think they allowed one too many too. It wasn't just entirely second chance points. So, interesting to see the Pistons get beat their own way, and then to make it up and win the game off a 3-point percentage is pretty crazy.
It's one of those rare games where you're going to
double
hear us
them
say
in threes made.
The 3-point shot
Yeah.
won the Pistons the game.
It's
crazy.
That's an interesting thing, especially without Cade. It's you never know how this team is going to pick themselves up without their star player, but they continue to find ways to do it. And it's interesting when you look at the Pelicans box score, it's like nobody really quite went off for them. Everybody who did score still shot so poorly. So anybody that you could look at and say, oh, well, they had a good game. I guess PV, 17 points, 7-11, 3 of 5 from behind the arc, and 7 rebounds for them off the bench. But beyond that, you got Sadiq Bey scored 20 points. But it took him, he shot 4 of 12 from the floor, which means he got a whole rack of free throws. I don't know and understand it, but even when he was with the Pistons, he was the guy that got the free throws over Cade Cunningham. He was drawing more free throws at a better rate. He still finds a way to do this in this league, even though he can barely jump over a quarter. So, I don't understand how the frick Sadiq Bey is finding ways to get this many free throws, man, but whatever. Trey Murphy, 6 of 19 from the floor, 17 points tonight, 2 of 9 from behind the arc. Nobody really played well for them. Derek Queen will have 5 points made. Both of his buckets played 23 minutes, had 4 rebounds, 8 assists. And it's weird because I just didn't even really see that. I didn't really notice them. I think there might have been drop passes and things of that nature. But so we go to the Pistons box score here, man. Uncle Tobias, 10 points, 4 of 13 from the floor, 6 rebounds. I thought in the fourth quarter, especially in the clutch, he was just one of those kind of steadying forces. You saw him bringing the ball up the court and such. Though the fact he didn't score that much, he did play a team-leading 31 minutes tonight for the Unc. So ice those knees, Unc. Ice those knees and get the Bengay ready. Duncan Robinson, 15 points, 5 of 11 from the floor, 4 of 9 from behind the arc. This continues to be what he is. Asar Thompson, 12 points, 5 of 10 from the floor, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. But the two people who led the game for the Detroit Pistons tonight, Dennis Jenkins, 17 points, and I thought that he played very well in the clutch. Free throw and 1 layup, and then another free throw situation from all in the last 5 minutes of the game. I couldn't ask much more from him then. I thought early on the pressure kind of got to him. He did have 5 turnovers for the game. And then early in the fourth quarter when they started the pressure, or early in the clutch moments, but they got that right. That was a nice switch by whoever called it to have Tobias alleviate some of the pressure. Yeah. But I thought overall, dog, from undrafted to I can step in when Cade Cunningham sits, and I can help this team win games. 17-4 for Dennis Jenkins tonight on decent shooting, 5 of 12, and Jalen Duren, 20 points, 15 rebounds, and he still continues to be one of your most efficient bigs in the game. What a night from him again, man.
Yeah. We called it. I mean, we called it at the start of, the game, is who do we want to see
step up.
Take,
has to
ownership,
be an all-star.
He had 3 stocks this game, 2 blocks and a steal,
getting this Pistons team a win. And we all called for the future All-Star this year in Jalen Duren. And what did he do besides deliver for the game? 20 points, but not it was. When you look at the way he played tonight, he played physical. He played
dominated.
Exactly. He dominated, and that's what you love to see out of Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
Most of the time, when you've seen the Pelicans get those second chance points, it was when he was out of the game. When they were getting the offensive rebounds, it was when he was out of the game, taking his break.
Yep, and just a note here, talking about the offensive rebounds, Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson. Jalen Duren had 5, and Asar Thompson had 4. And defensive rebounds, you're right. Jalen Duren had 10 defensive rebounds in 30 minutes tonight. So he was doing his job to limit the offensive rebounds of the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah.
And every time he sat, there wasn't much that the rest of the teams could do, man. So, but you, man, Jalen Duren, Dennis Jenkins, they're probably my player A, player B tonight.
Yep.
Jalen Duren's my player of the game. Yes. Dennis Jenkins, I thought, was absolutely huge. And Uncle Tobias, he came through when it mattered most.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a perfect analysis of this game. I think Jalen Duren was the most consistent this game from wire to wire. But then Dennis Jenkins' fourth quarter was absolutely huge. And Tobias, down the stretch, the last couple minutes was huge, bringing the ball up, making the right plays, just being the calming, steadying force like you mentioned. So I think those three guys are definitely huge. And then, again, Duncan Robinson, just not having an off night shooting is really, really helpful when Cade Cunningham's not there. Like, I want to kind of emphasize that. Duncan Robinson, 4 of 9 from the floor, 15 points, 5-11 from the floor in general. 4 of 9 from 3, that is.
Hot.
So, yeah, you just need him to just, especially in a night when you have no Cade Cunningham. And, again, he is your primary shooter by a landslide from outside.
You say
you
your
need
only
him
shooter?
to have a good game. Yeah. I try to be nice.
I know.
I try to be nice.
But you know what I like is that we can see that that Duncan Robinson is a professional shooter.
Yeah.
Because some people say, well, he's having his career year because he's next to Cade Cunningham. Look at the other shooters next to Cade. And in reality, when Cade has sat, we've seen Duncan Robinson still go out there and have some good shooting performances. I think that's clutch and crucial for the Pistons. They're going to have to know how to win games. If they're shorthanded, they're going to have to know how to win games when Cade Cunningham might be on the bench. Getting a rest. They're going to have to know that they can be competent out there on the floor.
And a team high plus
night.
20. Team
Duncan
high
Robinson?
plus 20, Duncan Robinson. Yep. So,
I have no complaints with that signing.
Yeah.
Absolutely none.
None.
And the contract is
The
fabulous.
contract is amazing.
It's fabulous.
It's
Pistons know what they're
amazing.
doing.
You don't even have to, like, if this just went terribly.
It's effectively like a 1 and a third year deal.
Yeah.
1 and
you
1/3.
can waive that dead money and deal with
They
it.
call it 1.5.
We had Josh
but
Smith on the books till, like a week ago?
Until the Troy Weaver era.
Yeah.
Literally.
No, that was ridiculous, man. I remember we needed.
We were playing Josh Smith and Deadman in the same
We
year.
should have popped champagne
What the
when
frick?
that dead money was gone. We should have absolutely popped champagne and celebrated.
I didn't invite
when
you?
Josh played. No,
Dang,
I don't
my
think
fault.
I
I
was
was
here.
just
Yeah, but you probably were the.
In my own mind, I definitely was.
Yeah.
It was 0% proof, though.
But yeah, 0% for shot. Yeah. I thought that this game, Jalen Duren, man, what he brought was incredible. Dennis, like I said, great. We ready to talk about the last lone starter we haven't talked about yet, and that's Asar Thompson.
Yeah, we can talk about him because I briefly went over the stats: the 12, the 5 of 10, the 9 rebounds, and the 4 offensive.
So,
the 9 rebounds overall, but 4 offensive.
Yep.
3 steals for him though.
Yeah, I think that Asar Thompson played a good game today, and I'm just gonna say this, especially in a game without Cade Cunningham. I like Asar taking 10 shots. I like him taking shots. That's showing that he is aggressive. That's showing that he is in an attacking mentality. And I love the fact that he is starting to maybe hopefully turn the corner in that area, because if he gets anywhere back to the finisher he is, or I expect him to be, then this is going to be a player that will improve a lot in the second half of the season. And so I think you've seen 2 good games in a row from Asar Thompson, in my opinion, and I'd like to see him string together a few more of these and really start to build his confidence, because I get that he's not the most talented offensive player in the world, but with his abilities and instincts, great cutter, great potential finisher, he should be able to get 12 to 14, no problem, without completely hijacking the offense. And I thought he did that tonight. So
100%. You look at him right now, and he's averaging nearly 11 points per game on 8.7 field goal attempts per game. I do believe that there's a world where you can get him, one or two more of the looks a game. Yeah. And Asar should and could be. But you also want to look at something else here. He could be at that if he was hitting the free throws. 56% free throw percentage for him. That's the only thing. Tonight he was good, but he's averaging effectively almost near 2 missed free throws per game. Jeez. So he would have that 12 because he's at almost 11 points per game right now. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I think as Asar gets more comfortable and more confident, I do believe that you're going to see a player that can go out there and get you that 15, 8, and 4. I think he can be that type of a player, one of those 15, 8, 4, 15. Can he become that 15, 5, and 5 type of player? I believe that Asar Thompson will be that guy next year for sure, but I still think there's an opportunity for him to get there this year. I like the way you put it. I didn't think that he did too much to outside of what his comfort or his skill set was. Obviously, that play at the end of the half, you would have liked to see him do a little bit better, but it's at the end of the half. The rest of the team kind of stayed stagnant. Nobody cut behind the double team. As I was coached, and I get it, the NBA is a different game and a better game than the levels I've ever played on, but one of the most basic things they tell you is when your player runs double team, you cut behind that guy and at least give the person being double teamed the opportunity to make the play. But these are things that I've seen the Pistons, sometimes they'll fall asleep on, but largely they get it right, especially on nights like tonight. The Pelicans are playing very scrappy, getting up in their jerseys, but you still saw, for the most part, this team trying to make the right plays. But when they get into too much patty cake, and that's when they want to pat, and dribble, that's where you see them having a lot of the turnovers. And then the Pelicans were doing something very interesting with Arcade there. They were making sure that when the ball went to the sides, they would push up on their defense on the point guard and make the Pistons throw these errant passes that were turning into freaking fast break runouts for the Pelicans. And so they're going to have to get that under control. Those passes when they're swinging it to the corner and then back up to the point guard, if that point guard is getting pressed, Duran or whoever's playing in the middle is actually supposed to show up to try and cut down. The only reason I'm dwelling on this is because they had 20 turnovers, and I feel like I saw at least 10 or 11 plays that happened right at the point guard spot where the ball was being swung back to him, and it was either too high or too over here, or the defender just stepped inside and took it and went down the court. So I'm hoping that these are things they can clean up, because usually, bro, when we have something to discuss about the Pistons from a negative slant, it's usually those turnovers and the careless nature of basketball, because they've been doing so many other things right. But turnovers and those second chance points that you can allow another team to have, those are two of the things right there that can straight take a otherwise perfect play and turn it into a loss real quick. And we saw the Pistons in the playoffs, turnovers cost them against the Knicks. We've seen them in the very few games that they've lost this year out of the 10. It's really been carelessness and turnovers down the stretch. Some of those 10 losses they have this year, I'm going to be for real. They shouldn't have some of those. Yeah. There's at least been, you could probably pull 4 of those games and say, bro, they were winning going into clutch time. What happened? Yep. And so that's where, when I'm looking at this squad from a free throw standpoint, I'm hoping they can get that together. But overall, you're right. Asar Thompson had a really, really, I thought, savvy game for this Pistons team that was missing a Cade Cunningham.
And these are the type of games, again, I'm not asking the world from him this year. I would like him to continue to improve, but I'm not asking the world from him this year. If he delivers this game or a better version of this game consistently, I am very happy with that output right now. Yep. Again, I still think his ceiling is much higher than this, but I am happy with that given this rate. Did we get that super chat, by the way, from Dante?
We did not.
Hey, 499 super chat. You want to read it?
Dante 151, shout out to Dante 151 with the super chat saying, remember when the Pistons fans wanted Jordan Poole as a Piston via trade when he was with Golden State? Thank God we didn't do that.
Yeah,
I was one of those people screaming that I didn't want him. That had nothing to do with the disgraceful school that he went to, the cheaty school that he went to.
That's an amazing school. Shout out to the University of Michigan. It's the best school in the state.
The best. No,
Jeff is glaring at me right now, dog.
It's nothing to do with that school.
We'll see come January 30th.
It is just a game where I don't think he ever really fit. I mean, he hasn't shown me winning basketball.
Michigan just needs better snow bunnies.
He had one run with the Wizards. He had one run in the shadow of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. He had 3 Hall of Famers on that team, and he had a good playoff run, and that will be the most important he's ever mattered to the NBA. So,
Chris, you know what he is now? He's a guy that can get buckets.
Hold on.
On bad teams.
Hold on,
team.
bro. How did the Knicks? I just saw this in the chat. Let me make sure whoever brought our attention to this gets their credit because I don't want to do this to somebody. But Dante 151 actually. Knicks won 120-66, a 54-point victory. Michael Porter Jr. was on the floor, but at least that boy put up 12 points, 4 of 14 from the floor, 3 of 9 from the floor. So it wasn't a good night for our trade targets tonight.
yeah.
Not at all for Trey Murphy or MPJ.
Well, they're tanking their stock.
The Knicks.
They want out of there. They just
What did the Knicks do, dog? This is hilarious.
Don't let the Knicks get right.
I look at the Knicks box score, and it's still pretty terrible, bro. Yeah. Like, I'm looking at this like, how did they win 120-66?
They
This
played
is
the
amazing,
Nets.
but-
That's how they won. That's how they won. That's how they won that game.
Dog, enough for them, though. But shout out to the Knicks finally getting a win so they can feel good about themselves
good
over
for
the
little
Brooklyn
bro.
Nets.
I wonder.
Say it again for the people in the back, Platte.
Good for a little bro. I'm happy for you.
Look, I want to go to the bench real quick before we
Hang
wrap this
that
thing up. Hang that up. They should have hung the.
They should.
They should have.
They should. What are they going to do that's more relevant?
They should have hung the in-season banner, dog. The Lakers were smart. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Look,
The Lakers can hang it. Why the hell would you turn your nose at? You're New York. If the Lakers hang their NBA in-season tourney banner, there is no fucking reason that the New York Knicks should be like, no.
It's like, who
we're
are the
above
Knicks?
that.
Like, who are you?
We're above that.
My nose at you. Like, what are you doing?
You know
We're
what's
above that. We haven't won a championship since TV got color, but we're above hanging banners. We're gonna wait for a moment. We got a lot of
Wait,
space
what do they
up
think
there.
they are? The Pistons? Come on, get out of
Ridiculous.
here. It's
You know
ridiculous.
what's crazy is how much shit did we hear from Knicks fans all across the just
Man, let's-
yippity yapping on Twitter,
boy
on
said,
Instagram,
LOL, NBA
all your
Cup.
socials. They just yapping, just New York Knicks, all this, and we just won the in-season tournament. We're gonna win. We're gonna win the championship. Y'all have went extremely downhill since winning that in-season tournament, by the way, because you put all your stock in winning that in-season tournament, and now it looks like all your players are burnt out already, and we
That's
haven't
why
even
they
reached the
should've
half
hung that
point
banner.
mark in the season.
But they beat the Nets, man. They're back.
Right? Yeah, they're back all right.
Bro, when you look at the box score, you're gonna be like, "What the frick?" Their box score is disgusting from the Knicks game. Like, how do you score that much? And Jalen Brunson had 20. I think Cat might have had 13. Somebody had 5 in their starting lineup. It was the bench.
I'm serious.
They went all the way deep into their bench, bro, and guys had like 18 and such off the bench.
John F. Kennedy's assassination was in the recent memory when the New York Knicks won a championship.
Golly.
I'm done with that.
Shout out to Platte. Hey, look, we're going to get to this bench here. Who
Yeah.
do you think was my player of the game off the bench, Max Factor? Because this guy, man, I liked him tonight.
Tonight and only tonight? No, I'm kidding.
No, I like him most nights,
right.
man, as it relates to a player off the Pistons bench. But this guy would probably be my player
Yep.
off the bench. I like Stu. He made a great.
Should be Ron
Yeah.
Allen.
It could have been Ron Holland.
I know what it is.
You know who it
It's
is.
Javonte Green.
You know who it is.
It's Javonte
Talk
Green.
about him.
Dude, he just
3 steals on the night for
He's
Javonte.
one of those perfect role players, man. Like, he doesn't have the craziest stat line. You look at, wow, like 8 points, or wow, 6 points, wow, 2 steals, like whatever. Like, it's not the flashiest stat line, but it's like when he comes in the game, he not only, like Ron brings an energy. And sometimes
Yep.
with that energy, not to pick on him, but it doesn't come with, like, results. It just, like, it's a lot of just intrinsically motivating other players. Whereas Javonte Green comes in, you know you're getting a steal, a fast break point,
Yep.
you know you're getting a 3, and maybe you get more than that, but it's always timely. It's always at a point in the game where you need that momentum. He's just absolutely wonderful. So, yeah, I think Javonte Green is awesome. 14 minutes. So he
What a
played less
pickup,
minutes. He played less minutes than anybody on the bench. Ivy played 18. Sasser played 21. Ron Holland played 18. Stewart played 24, and he had just as many as anybody on the bench except Marcus Sasser, who had by far the most shots, 11 shots.
And he only put up 9, which I still take that because I thought the bench played decent.
Right.
Whenever you can go out of your bench and get nearly 50, you get over 40 points, that's a good night for your bench. That's a really good night, especially when they shoot decent. Marcus Sasser was one who didn't shoot as well, but when you look at the true shooting or his effective field goal percentage, it'd be a lot better than what it looks like on paper because he took 5 threes, but only hit 1 of them. 3 of 11 from the floor overall for Marcus Sasser, 9 points, 4 assists. I'm going to go through the whole bench and their stats. Jaden Ivey, 18 minutes. So, again, no 20. He didn't break that 20-minute cap. I know we're waiting to see if he's going to or what the deal actually is. Last we were updated, it was the minutes restrictions, but we're still waiting to see because that was a long time ago update. So 2 of 5 from behind the arc, and that's what he was from the floor tonight. He didn't take any shots inside the arc for Jaden Ivey tonight.
Tonight, too, like, you know, it was clearly the right decision to go with Dennis. You know, like this night, I'm not necessarily looking at it. It could have still been a minutes restriction thing. It could still be that they don't want to give him 20 minutes, but more than 20 minutes. Yeah. But he played. He played fine. But yeah, Dennis Jenkins was absolutely the guy to go to down the stretch. Like,
definitely,
100%. So it could have been that situation too.
This year too, and I like that. Like, so that's the thing. The closing lineups, they will dictate things. But there were times in this game where I thought, man, it would have been nice to be able to have him out there. You know, Jaden Ivey just to see what's what. But if this is what JB Bickerstaff thinks is best for the team, I'm not gonna change it. And I'm looking at right now, FanDuel Sports has the Pistons midterm report card, man. They are second right now in defensive rating, 106.4. Remember when I told you the freaky good teams, like like the good teams from years past, will have like 104 defensive rating. Can the Pistons get there? And we were talking about that because we saw, I think it was
I thought you wanted like 108 or 110.
Yeah, I think it was OKC at the time who was at that 108, 107 type. The Pistons right now 106.4, bro. At the mid.
Excuse me, what's OKC at?
And they're first in the league in stocks at 17.1 per game.
What's OKC at?
Let me see if they stay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to see where they're at because I think that is a huge stat, man, for this Pistons team. Let me see here. We'll see where they're defensive.
While you're doing that, super chat from Mishanuga, shout out. If LeBron was a Knick, there would be a parade for that NC's attorney banner. I think he's referencing. Absolutely, yeah. But also, honestly, it's clown shit from the Knicks, really. Like, the Knicks are gonna turn their head and scoff their head at a championship. Like, do you know how rare that is? You're the New York Knicks. That's very rare. Once a generation, maybe. Like, hold on to it. Cherish it.
I was going to say we got to wait for the numbers to update. Yeah. But the OKC Thunder at 106.6, we're just waiting for the Pistons numbers to officially go into effect. But they were right on the heels of the Thunder. So the Thunder at 106. I think at one point in time this season they were down to 104.
Oh, my God.
But they went through, I guess what some people want to call a rough stretch, and it's now 106. Well, they're good. It's insane.
They are damn.
This is the modern NBA.
Yes.
But that's what's insane. Your Pistons are right on their heels defensively, and we've seen this. It doesn't matter how good you think your team is. The Pistons' defense has translated to almost all their matchups this year.
I can't wait for that OKC game. Oh my God.
That's gonna be something.
I can't wait. I think we play on both games in February, right? I know our home game is in February.
Yeah,
but I think
both of them might be.
I think both games. I'll look that up to confirm. But yeah, man, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too far off the box where I know we're.
We're almost done here because we called off most of them. If there's any specific players you guys want to shout out, definitely. But
so
Ron Holland, 6 points, 2 of 4 from the floor, and 100% from behind the arc, Jeff. 101 from behind the arc for your boy Ron Holland, and he also had 2 steals on the night, man. So shout out to Ron Holland, Mr. Energy himself, and this bench who went out there, and everybody scored at least 6 points. I thought everybody shot at least pretty decently. I thought that the energy was really, really good, and I believe that the defense, actually the bench, I thought that they were a part of this team having an opportunity to win. Even though there were some minutes there in terms of defensively where I thought Jaden Ivey looked like Jaden Ivey of last year. Won't cross him too much because he did play 18 minutes tonight. But I wanted to see just a little bit better out of him from that defensive side.
Pistons home game against the Thunder, is February 25th, and their away game against the Thunder at OKC is March 30th. So they're about a month apart.
9:30.
A month apart.
It's a Peacock game.
Yep.
Both of those games are going to wind up being.
Both those games should be.
Yeah.
If
both
they're
of
not
those.
already flexed, they should be flexed. I mean,
be a late
it's the
one.
two best teams in the league, statistically.
Both of those, man. And it's interesting. I'm looking at the fan.
Man, they gotta be just chomping at the bit for that game.
Do you know what we need for that game?
I wonder. I know that they understand like the overall.
I mean, you slayed Boston. They know 3-1.
Yeah,
you slayed that. You slayed that dragon. New York, self-explanatory.
Yeah, and I know the narrative is there, but I also know the Pistons. They want that matchup, and they're going to be ready for the matchup. But I'm glad to know that they're not going to define themselves based off of that matchup. They're not going to get too high if they win. Mm-hmm. They won't get too low if they lose. Now, with the Boston Celtics, that's one where it's like I had privileged information. I got to talk to, like, family members and such. Like, Cade hates the Celtics. He wants to beat them. So that was like it's so different there. And I hope he gets that for the entire league. I hope when he understands we're trying to win a championship, OKC standing at the end of it, that's a team that does a little bit more of this to him and a little bit more of this and knocks him out the air. And I've noticed he started getting chippy. Like, did you see him? Did you see him in the Celtics the other night?
Celtics were disrespectful.
And that's the thing. And OKC does that too, but you almost seen the Pistons give them a respect that they don't care to give the Celtics. Get the respect out your mouth for OKC. They've won the championship. They've done it. Everybody else is going to have them in their mouths. But if you are the Pistons and you're sitting in a position to be number one in the East, get the respect out your mouth. They're good. But I don't give a frick anymore, dog. Yep. Especially when I see the way that the Pistons moved against the Celtics when they were like, we're going to come and play Chippy. Everyone's showing up now recently like, we're here to play Chippy. And the Pistons are like, get the frick out of here. Like, this is ours. This is how we do things. And so that's where now you got me more pumped up for this freaking OKC game than I was trying to be.
Can I ask
now
you
I'm like, okay, can we fast forward
Can I ask you a
to
question,
February
Kool-Aid?
28th?
Can I ask you a question, Kool-Aid?
What up, though?
What the hell is Chet going to do when Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren is checking that boy, man? He going to be scared, man. He about to be scared for real.
That's going to be an interesting game,
terror
man.
is going to feel into his mind.
They're such different teams. One team is huge, it's big,
but they're
tall.
Yeah.
The Pistons aren't that measurement-wise, but they play so much taller. They're strong.
I can see that game being a game where your starting lineup is going to be Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. Just because of the fact that Isaiah Stewart, your more versatile defender, who can go out onto the perimeter and guard Chet.
I was trying to be so even killed about
you let Duren anchor the paint. I can see that working out. But you know what? I'm most excited for that matchup is for Cade Cunningham and SGA head to
prime
head.
Time. Yep.
Cade Cunningham putting a stamp on what will be an MVP season for him.
And I'm going to tell Pistons this. Look, during the regular season.
That game could decide the MVP.
It could. But that's where during the regular season, I'm going to tell fans, don't get too high, don't get too low.
Yep.
Enjoy it. These are love letters. Your Pistons teams are getting picked up and flexed to national TV, and you know you got a long run with this Pistons team. Yep. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Now, if it's the playoffs, we riot with every loss. But in the regular season,
ride or die.
Yeah, with the regular season, you just enjoy these. Because I remember growing up, not understanding the notion of expectations or how to watch a team with expectations because the Pistons sucked. Cool jerseys. I like the teal. Sorry. I like the Greg Hill. But they couldn't meet expectation. It's like the Atlanta Hawks had their number. The Miami Heat just had their number. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I enjoyed the art of the game. I enjoyed the times when they were good, when they were making the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And that's where I believe with this team, they're in the midst of a special season.
Yes.
I believe sometimes you just take the good, the bad, the ugly, the ups, the downs with a season like that, and you find the ways to enjoy it all. You know, that's what I believe this season is. How do you know when you're in the midst of something special? How do you know when you're in the midst of that season that you're like, you know what? Let me just enjoy this. Let me go out to some games with my friends. Let me tap into a couple watch parties over here with Woodward Sports. Let me go and make this something that's more fun than having to nerve wreck and stress all the time. Guys, your Pistons have made it.
Yes.
They're no longer the 17-win team, which was third worst record in franchise history. They're no longer the 14-win team, which is the worst record in franchise history. They're the team that had made a historic jump last year, and they decided we're not finished. They've decided we're not done, and that's where I do implore all fans, like, look, we're going to have our ups and our downs. I get it. But to find ways to enjoy this season, especially when they play teams like OKC Thunder, especially when they play some of these good teams, and it might be a battle even if they fall the wrong way. I believe that this is one of those seasons that we can actually come in and just enjoy who our Detroit Pistons are because they play the game the right way, and they got a coach who I believe everybody in Detroit will love to play for. You know, J.B. Bickerstaff is one of those dudes, man, a coach's coach. And overall with sports, I'm pretty comfortable with where all of our guys are.
Yeah.
But you talked about NBA ranks this season.
Yep.
You know who's number one in points per game?
Boston.
Paint points? Pelicans.
Oh, paint points. Sorry, I thought you meant
My fault.
regular
Paint points.
Yeah.
Pistons are 2.
Oh,
But in terms of
passed it.
opponent points per game, Pistons are actually 4th, and the Pelicans are 2.
In terms of like best, like least allowed.
No, in terms of most
terms
points
of most
allowed.
points
So the
allowed.
Pistons are going to have to fix. So when they do go
Makes
and they
sense.
give up
They're
54
aggressive on the
points
perimeter.
to the Pelicans,
Yeah.
it's actually not as bad as it looks on paper because the Pelicans are the number 1 paint team, and the Pistons are number 4 at giving up paints in the point. So
Yeah.
your points in the paint. So
But that's so crazy to me, that stat,
Interesting.
Kool-Aid, because this team wins every point per game battle by 20. So how are they?
How
are
the
they?
Pelicans like that?
How are they giving up that many points in the paint, but then also winning by that much?
And we follow it.
Yeah,
We've been tracking this stuff.
that seems.
I think all the Pelicans are getting has
Rather
to be Trey
interesting.
Murphy threes,
Yes.
and everything else is in the paint, bro.
Yep.
I just have to. I can't.
Yeah.
We saw this team play tonight. That's
Yeah.
what they really were doing.
Yeah.
They didn't hit no. Trey Murphy was off, and what they hit like 20% from behind the arc.
It was Sadiq Bey's 11 free throws that kept him in the game.
Sadiq Bey, that's where he takes all his points,
Hey,
right?
As of the 41 game mark, the Pistons are on track for a 62 win season. Their franchise record is 64.
Well, now they're at 42,
Just
32 and 10.
Yeah, just keeping that in mind. Just keeping that in mind. That would be insane.
I think. I mean, right now, as it stands,
Again,
looks
I
like
wanna
this
be-
team is going
again,
to cruise over
like
50,
you said.
to at least 50.
Yeah, like you said, not too high, not too low. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. We got a lot of strings before these things.
We're still waiting
come
to
to
see what
fruition.
this team is going to be around after All-Star and trade deadline.
Yeah.
Trade deadline is coming up quick.
can't
All-Star is coming up quick as well. So,
Yep.
we got about 3 weeks, I believe, until All-Star, and I think not too much longer for trade deadline. So
Next game, Houston Rockets, big game.
Sure.
handle that.
I
Handle
like
them.
I like that game because Houston is a team they're physical, they're strong, they're big. The last game with them was chippy.
Chippy?
I can't wait to see that.
It wasn't just chippy, Chris.
It was chippy.
Jalen Duren got ejected from the game.
Yeah.
It
that
ain't
was
just
insane.
chippy. They
I
got
call that
legitimate bad blood with this Houston Rockets
Yeah.
team. It's been like that for the past 2 years. I know Jalen Green is no longer there for Cade Cunningham to have extra fuel to torch this team, but they still have a hatred for this team. I know Asar is always going to want to outdo his brother, no matter what. It's gonna be a great game, but I'm expecting 100% for Jalen Duren to get his get back on these Houston Rockets.
Yes.
Because that was one of the games that he struggled with early in the season when he was just like, we were like, what the hell, Jalen Duren?
Yeah.
And since then, he's turned it up a notch. He's turned things around. He's become an all-star level caliber player. So now we see this right here is his get-back game on the Rockets. To get back right.
And you know what, man? We're going to close things up. I'm going to read this from Iron Set. He says, you guys are the best, man. I could be here all night, LOL, with the $2 super chat. But, Aaron,
We could too if
Hey.
we didn't have tomorrow.
yeah, I just read. We got tomorrow and a long day. I know I'm going to be bringing y'all out to Motor City Cruise
Yes.
tomorrow. So you guys tap in. We'll be doing a special stream. There'll be a pre-stream that I'll do on Woodward Pistons first for the pregame at Motor City. And then on Woodward Sports, we're going to do a full stream during as much of the game as I can get through, where we're going to be honoring some of the movers and shakers in the Pistons content creation and media game. So from Woodward Sports, I am going to have Mr. Chris Platte and Spimo Rax in the building after
sir.
heavy. So that's what we're talking about. It's a long
Long day.
day ahead for us, where we're doing multiple shows, multiple jobs. And then after all of that, when our normal day ends, we're running over to Motor City Cruise game tomorrow. So if you are in Detroit and you can get there, come there tomorrow.
Yes.
I will interview you guys. We will interview. We'll put y'all on the
I'd love to
stream
meet
and
you
all
in
of
the
that.
chat. Come on. I mean,
If
this
you can
is-
get there,
we're
I'm telling
family.
you, it's a good time.
Yeah.
if the Pistons get back in time, words on the street, maybe 1 or 2 shows up too. I've been at those games, the Cruise games, and they start walking in, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's cool. And even just the atmosphere, it's pretty dope. So if you guys are in the building, definitely we'll do some table talk. We'll talk some Pistons. So if you can't be there, make sure you stay tapped in. So it's going to be a fun time tomorrow night. Reach out to some other people as well that we're hoping to have a part of this stream, including some of the international flavor. We were trying to get Pistons Tom.
Yeah, shout
but
out.
His job wouldn't let him out of it.
He's gotta come back because Detroit
He's
as
here
a
in
city
April
was
for
winning.
Tigers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Pistons.
All right. Yeah, good. He needs to be here for the big games because when he was here,
everything
was beautiful. The Lions looked like Super Bowl contenders. God.
Come back.
Oh, we need this
Come
guy
back.
back. We need Tom back. Shout out to Tom, man. He's really dope. He was a really dope interview. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for tomorrow.
I'm very excited, man. There's a lot of people who, through the down years, they stayed consistent, and I saw them at LCA. I saw him and Nick at LCA. I done content with him and Spinny and all this. I've done the table talks. Like, it's pretty awesome. And, I'm going to try and do this multiple times. So, if there's people that I miss on this little thing, shout out to the Cruise and Pistons PR and Brody Hickle and others who have helped to coordinate this. This is something for a couple years we've been trying to figure out the best way to be able to do something like this. So, guys, stay tapped in, man. I can't wait. And you're going to hear from some of your faves. I know we got Kool Cahill, who's going to be in the building as well, and a couple of the other people that you might know from around the Pistons. I would say Twitterverse, but it's X now, so Pistons Socialverse. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Man. I look forward to it. But this has been a night, man. Aaron, how's it been
Shout
over
out.
there for you?
Good.
Shout out, Aaron. Thank you for rocking with us, man.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for having me on here, guys. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a great time. I love listening to you guys, banter back and forth about the Pistons and stuff like that. It teaches me a lot, and it's just really interesting being here in the audio booth helping you guys out. So I really appreciate you guys having me here.
Hey, man. Thank you for being a part of everything.
Appreciate
Straight
it.
up.
Appreciate it, man. I mean, this watch parties, man, this is just like hanging out with the boys. Like, the Pistons are winning. Man, that's the only thing missing. Sun cruisers. For me. That's the only thing missing for me. But no, this has been awesome. Mission Nuga in the chat. This is a special season. He's 100% right, man. We are grateful for it, and that's why we are going to be giving you these streams all season. And man, this is a ride that you like. You're excited to keep going, but you also don't want to stop. It's the most awesome feeling. So
look, I'm working on some stuff, man. If we crush these Motor City Cruise streams, man.
Yeah.
Let's crush them.
Let's crush
I need you guys to definitely support, get the word out there, and
100%.
maybe we'll be able to do some special stuff at LCA as well. So let's have some fun. Shout out to you guys, man.
Yep.
Shout out to you, chat family. If you didn't get the opportunity to, go ahead and smash that like button.
Yeah,
shout out
smash
to
the
our
like button on
booth,
the way out.
Aaron and Jeff. We got Kid Kool-Aid and Junior Kool-Aid over there.
Shout
the Lions
out.
Den, they was watching the game, hanging out with us today.
Celebrities.
They doing their thing,
Yeah.
man. And Baltimore Platte,
TV
man.
appearances. Thank you.
You talk
Thank
about being here for the heavies and probably staying through a little bit and getting everything ready early on, man. Shout out to you, Chris Platte, and being up for these late post games and such, man. It's been an awesome season
Absolutely.
so far.
This is everything I could ever ask for. Again, 8-year-old me when I first started watching the Pistons, if I told him this was his life, he'd be. he couldn't believe it. I can't backflip, but he'd probably backflip. He'd probably try to backflip.
You've been your ISO speed.
I wish. I wish.
Yeah. I'll fall on the back of my neck in the process.
Yeah, no, we'll keep Platte safe.
I show
man. We need him.
broken
It's a
bones.
special. This is a special season, so no backflips. We need you healthy, bro.
Yeah. No, I trust
Hey,
me.
good night to
those
y'all.
backflips can't even work with a trampoline.
Yeah, no, good night to y'all, man. Everybody in the chat, from Dante to Mishanuga to Eric Moy to I Ain't Say That, man. I'm seeing a lot of people that's been supporting us throughout the year. Miyuki, Doughboy, man. I'm just going through, and if I miss you guys, I am sorry. Mitten Maid, of course. Flake Dog, Chuck Brewer. Man, shout out to you guys for being here. This has been awesome. Shout out to the Pistons. They win, and we still find ways to try and say, hey, these are ways that they can even be more better than better.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
I love it, man.
Shout out. Hey, y'all have a good night, man. Let's go. Smash the like.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.